All right, welcome in everybody.
I will.
Good to have all of you here.
Turn myself down a little.
The Church Digital, and we're going to be chatting with Christian Ninja from Taco Network. So we're going to bring him in here. Let me. Oh, you know what? You're not sharing your camera on my side. I don't see you.
What? Oh, turn camera on.
Yep.
OBS virtual camera. Okay, confirm. How's about now?
There we go. Let me make sure I got the right one. And
I worked really hard to dial this in so it would actually work when I needed it to work. Because what they did a while back with Twitch is they basically went, here's a feature, you can now call each other, and it's like, cool. Just how do I control that?
Right.
And you can't. Sorry, you can't. Anybody can call you whenever they feel like at the end. And I'm like, well, if that's going to happen, I better get my, figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
Am I loud enough for you?
Yeah, I was just double
Good.
checking.
Because I like to shout.
Hey, no problem. No problem on that. Yeah, like I say, they open up stuff and, well, for some reason, I go from one person to another. I'm also streaming from one stream to another. And actually, I found out yesterday, my one other channel that has no mic on it, all of a sudden opened the mic up so that it was hearing a conversation in the room. Like, why did the computer reboot and then undo the microphone? It makes no sense to me.
My computer this morning, I jumped into Stream, turned on OBS, and Stream Elements was like, no, I've completely forgotten all your login information. You're gonna have to relog in. So I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. And then as soon as I did that, it goes, what did you do? I crashed, like full meltdown. I had to hard reset my computer.
Oh no.
It was bad. Oh yeah, it was bad. I'm like, come on, man, that's not great. That's not cool. And so I was late for stream. Then the moral of the story is, there's nothing I could have done. It's not my fault.
Oh, well, often somebody at least, DM'd me and said, hey, by the way, your other channel, I can hear you. It was like, it wasn't a big deal. I was just teaching on something and in a group. And so it wasn't anything that was of any concern, but it was like, oh, wow, that's something I was not thinking about, that it would just decide to do that on its own. So, well, this has been really fun. So you are the fourth one that I've done this with. So those that do not know the Church Digital, so just let me introduce myself. Everyone over on Christian Ninja. I know a lot of you might know me, Cap Dapper Pastor, and the Church Digital is a missionary sending organization. And what I'm doing is trying to help be a resource person and create an outpost for missionaries who are specifically focused on doing gaming ministry. So a lot of us are going to be in Twitch, but you can be in other platforms as well. And so as I'm kicking this off and using the channel that the Church Digital had been using for podcasts, I'm like, what a great way to just invite my friends in that I've known for a while that are missionaries. Whether you use the title or not, I'm not putting it on you, but a missionary is just someone bringing the gospel to a dark place. And so I just use that term. We use that term for people that are bringing the gospel. And, well, we've got a conference coming up that you can check out some info on that later, missionary.digital. It's free. I think Believe Ninja, we're getting you set up to be able to do a breakout session there. I got a bunch of friends that are going to be helping out with some of that. So I got a lot of stuff going on, and it's like, what a great way to just bring people in, talk about ministry, and promote the kingdom and what people are doing. So that's why I'm hanging out here with my friend. So Christian Ninja, I know a little bit about your story of being a pastor and having that call, but I really kind of want to just kind of start with, how did you end up being in digital spaces? What was the event and or things that led you to that? Not just the, I decided one day, but the things that led up to any of those kind of interactions.
Well, it certainly wasn't. Oh, I decided one day. That's for sure. I have. Okay, so basically, here's the story. I was a full-time pastor for a long time. When I was in seminary, that was a surprise. I didn't think I was ever going to be a pastor. I was a nerd when I first started school. I was a nerd all the way through high school. All I wanted to do was to play with computers and program. That was back before everybody kind of knew how to do it, and it was a thing. I was an exception there. I was one of the few actual nerds in the school, probably one of two, and the other one was my cousin. And so when I went to school, I originally went for computer technology, right? Computer system technology and electrical engineering and trying to do computer stuff. And when I hated that because it was way not what I wanted to do. It was accounting, and it was a bunch of programming I didn't want to learn. And so I didn't have it. I was completely untethered from what I was supposed to be in life. I'm like, that was everything, and now I have nothing. So my dad said, why don't you go to Bible college and figure yourself out? So I'm like, sure, I'll go to Bible college, figure myself out. And I did. It was great. I had a really transformative experience the first year. I had a lot of really great experiences with people. There was a lot of folks who were really kind. I walked in with a lot of anger, a lot of misery. You know what I mean? Just feeling really bad about myself and about people. And so I went in, and by that time, God called me, basically said, stay here, get educated. And I'm like, all right, cool. I will stay here. I will get educated. And then when I went to the pastorate, I was there for a long time, basically a preaching pastor. That's what I was. It was, sorry, let me do one setting here. I'm kind of losing my marbles here. Performance, hide video view. There we go. Nope, that's you. Why would I want to hide you? That doesn't make any sense at all. All right. Apparently I can't hide myself. Fine, whatever. I don't want to see me. Every time I see myself
you can crop it
talking,
down,
I make myself crazy. I could, but my brains don't work anymore. So
yeah,
all right.
Just on the tech side there, I found that I capture just you individually, and then I use my own source. Works better than capturing it back through. So if you go over to the right, you could just capture mine alone and then use your own alone. But I don't know what you got set up and how long that would take. But
I got dual PCs, three monitors, and you're on two of them.
Okay.
So yeah. Okay. So basically, I went in. I was a preaching pastor for a really long time, 16 years or so. Been through all the church hurt and all that kind of stuff. Saw some amazing people. Saw some really, really rough stuff. When COVID, a lot of the beginning of the stories for this ministry is, and then COVID.
Yeah.
And then COVID. That was great. It did for all kinds of reasons, except for as far as the church goes, it actually was a benefit. It was a blessing in disguise, because it allowed a lot of churches, a lot of Christians, a lot of whatever, to realize where they were with God, where they were with their relationship with the church, whether they really felt that it was important, what was their, what if they didn't agree with some people that were at church. There was a lot of things that came out of that were actually very transformative, a really refining fire. In the church I was in, we found out that an elder, some of the workers, people that were there were very, sort of anti-vax, government, there's all sorts of stuff. And so when we said we're going to shut down the church for the 13 weeks we were supposed to do that, and I'll keep doing virtual stuff. We'll try to be meeting on Zoom. They were having none of that. So they just kind of went, forget it, we're leaving. And off they went. And they went to go live in the woods and whatever. It's when that happened, all of a sudden it was, the board came to me and they're like, well, you know what? We can't afford to keep you full time anymore. The church is now cut in half. We can't afford the full-time pastor thing anymore. I'd been there for 7 years. And so, good luck, goodbye. And so I went home and I'm like, okay, now what? Right? I've just done a decade and a half plus of pastoral ministry. I'm tired, been through 3 different churches, been through a lot of stuff. The whole COVID season of, making your own sermons and writing and recording and releasing and digital and all that stuff. It was actually, it was a lot. Right. And so what do I do now? Do I go get a secular job? Do I quit? Do I jump straight into another church? So I talked to a friend, and that friend would super wise, super smart. And I'm like, so I'm praying about this. I'm thinking about this. What do you want me to do? Or like, what should I do? And he's like, well, what are you doing? Like, what are you passionate about right now? What are you working on? I'm like, well, I have a podcast. I was doing a sermon podcast for a long time, and now I've converted it into a news and events podcast, right? Son of a thing that I'm. So it's like, well, do that. Otherwise you're going to go crazy. You need some kind of project. Lean into that. If that's what you're passionate about, you're trying to serve God with it, and see what happens. And so as I was working with that and trying to make the podcast better, writing and whatnot, I started to get this impression that what I wanted was not to just to send out information into the world.
Right.
I wanted to receive back. Right. I wanted, I want this to be a conversation. I want it to be something that I can actually relate to people and find out where they're at and hear what they have to say about these things that I'm passionate about. But, so that got me looking into live streaming, which got me looking immediately into YouTube. I didn't even think Twitch. Didn't even cross my mind.
Okay.
And I'm like, because YouTube, go there. And I started looking into YouTube and yeah, okay, interesting live stream. What other ways are there? Okay, this, that, the other thing. Came across Twitch. And as I was kind of doing a study of what is Twitch? Who are the Twitch people? What are Twitch people like? Why does Twitch exist when there's a YouTube live? And discovered the subculture that was on Twitch. Mental health issues, social disorders, learning disabilities, physical disabilities, people that have a ton of church hurt, community hurt. There's a lot of that going on here among the streamers and among the communities who watch them. And my heart immediately went out, and I was like, these are my people, man. These are my people. And I immediately had an affinity for wanting to serve, love, chat with them, find out what's going on. And I prayed about it. And I'm like, God, what do you want me to do? And just was like, okay, I'm going to start this thing up. I started up, and I'm like, learning how to do it. I love tech. It's really easy for me to slide in. Let's do this stuff. All the way along when I was a pastor, I was the guy introducing, we should have a website. We should maybe not use the overhead projector. Let's try a digital projector. Have you tried having more than, one input on your soundboard? We should maybe have more than that, like things like that. And so that was me kind of moving that forward. And so now I was just allowed to do whatever I want as hard as I could. And I just did. After about, a couple weeks in really thinking about it, I had this, my assumption was that I needed to be bivocational.
Right.
Right. That isn't like my assumption was I need to have a way to pay for this. That obviously if I go from, I have no income, I have no church, I have no support, I have no connection, the denomination's not connecting with me, I have no big church that I'm working with, it's just me in the basement with no income. Right. It would be insanely stupid for me to just kind of go, I'm going to go full time. Good luck. And so as I did that, I went into looking for a job. That job was with a nonprofit. It was actually a parrot rescue. And I went through the whole process, and they really liked me, and I really thought it would be cool to kind of work with them. Really excited. And then the third interview, I'm sitting down, and they said to me, you are exactly who we want. You're just the right person for us. You're mature enough. You know what you're doing. You're willing to be paid at the level we're willing to pay you. You're just the right guy, but we can't hire you. And I'm like, oh, why not? And this woman, secular woman, non-Christian woman from this place that wanted me and thought I would do a good job, looked me dead in the eyes and was like, this thing that you're doing online that you're so passionate about, it would be wrong for us to take you from it. Yeah. So you should do that. Which I took as kind of a Balaam's donkey moment of just trust me. God just going, don't go looking for other jobs. Just do the job and let me take care of you. And so I went, fine, I'll do it. And I just launched into full-time, full bore, as many hours as I could pour into this ministry, and have now been full-time, coming this Sunday, for 4 years. I went from I've never streamed before to full-time streamer immediately.
Wow. Yeah, I can say I didn't do that same, one day one thing and then move to the next day.
I should say, don't follow in my footsteps. It's a terrible plan if God's not literally telling you to do it.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the chat a little bit. The people are a little intrigued on the Parrot rescue here. So let's back up a minute on the Parrot rescue. Yeah, the Parrot rescue. You made your brain stop for a second.
Yeah.
Rescue
so Parrot rescue. So
what is
it's
that?
The
job?
only one. So there's only one in Canada, and it is essentially what it sounds like. There are people. You know how they have places that if you have an abused dog or you have an abused, like pet, whatever, you take them there and they get taken care of, or someone, like calls the police and they rescue the dog or whatever. Well, parrots are actually really uniquely a difficult pet. They live for like 80 years.
Yep.
They got the intelligence of like a 3-year-old, and they get real stressed out real fast. And so if you don't know what you're doing with a parrot, then it'll pluck out all of its feathers. It'll do all kinds of insane stuff. One sec, I just got some gift subs. Thank you.
Awesome. I love that.
Dude, I appreciate that very much. Thank you, anonymous gifter. That was super cool. Part of me is like, you should have waited till Sunday during the subathon. But I was like, I'll take it.
Absolutely.
I'll take it. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. So much. God bless you and much appreciated. So yes, there is. So they're really smart. They get really stressed out. They need community. They need exercise. They need the proper diet. They need communication. And if they don't get it, they start self-harming. They will literally rip out all of their feathers and they'll kind of lose their minds and they'll hurt themselves, like all kinds of stuff.
I didn't know they did
and so this parrot rescue.
Wow.
So like this, you should go to the Parrot Rescue in Carleton Place website, and you'll see some of these parrots that have no feathers because they've ripped out all their feathers. Like they look so sad and terrible, and they haven't been played with, and they haven't been taught, and they haven't been like. Imagine you take a 3-year-old and you just lock them in a cage, right, and just like they're not going to do well. And so these people who kind of like on Easter, where people get a bunny and then don't know what to do with it, or at Christmas they go get like a dog and they don't know what to do with it, and then what do we do with this thing, and they bring it all back. And so the same thing with these parrots, except for these parrots live for like forever. They're not 14 years. They're around for as long as a human life. And so these guys, their passion is for taking these parrots and recuperating them and doing therapy with them and bringing them back to some health, finding a good home for them, that kind of thing. So part of their deal is they were trying to figure out a way online to kind of, like you said, like, what is a parrot rescue? What's wrong with parrots? Well, most people don't know either. And so they were trying to build a social media following or something so they could get out there and people could find out that this place exists.
Yeah, well, that's pretty cool. I think their question was what kind of parrots went through the stream as well. So
all of them.
Yeah.
Like there were I'm trying the classic sort of red and green one. There's like the big cockatiel looking one. Like just like if it's a parrot, they have it. And at the time they had like an aviary and like a little workout room. It was very cool. You walk in there and like these parrots are talking. They're like playing soccer. They're climbing up things like a monkey. It's really cool. One of them was obsessed with the broom and just wanted to be with that broom forever. And so they have this aviary and whatnot. Very, very cool. And at the time when I went, this would have been, like I said, about 4 years ago. They probably had 8, 9, 10 birds that they were caring for, which is a lot. You know what I mean? Like if they had volunteers and they needed food, they needed all this stuff, and they're the only one. So if anybody's going to have a problem, they're going to be the one that gets phone call.
Yeah. I'm just thinking what a interesting parallel there can be there between parrot rescue, where there are parrots that are neglected, abused, or unwanted, and when we go into digital spaces, there are people that often feel those exact same things of neglected, abused, unwanted, they don't belong, whatever those things are, that that we're
misunderstood.
Misunderstood. We're in the space of trying
promised something.
Oh, say more
and left behind. Well, that's the thing. A lot of them, I think one of the issues with digital ministry and people that really embrace it and it's for them is because they've tried traditional spaces.
Yeah.
Right. They've tried traditional church or community centers. They've tried to do sports groups, or they've tried to do community, like teams and whatnot. And they, because of their difference, because of their interest, because of their whatever disability, because of their language issues, were rejected, were treated poorly. And they ended up having to essentially I can't be out there. Every time I try to go out there, it doesn't work. And so they retreat inward.
Oh, yeah.
They still long for community. They still long for authority. They still long for people to be around them and support them. They still long for fun and conversation and like just to be around each other. But for them, going out is really painful. And that's what I meant, right? Like these parents were basically promised, you come to my house, we'll take care of you, we'll feed you, you'll be part of the family. And they were essentially not only neglected, but the promise was broken. I think there's a lot of people that are in digital ministry, in digital, that are creators and that are people who watch Twitch, that are in a similar situation, which is why we work so hard as Christian content creators to be able to create environments that are active. One of the most difficult things, I think personally, and maybe you can agree or not, is creating an offline, non-stream environment that has life, right? Because I know a lot of Christian streamers, a lot of places that they have a Discord, they have a come visit my Patreon, come whatever, and you go there, it's just toast, it's dead. There's nobody there, like not even the person who runs the stream is there. And so because it's so much effort, but everybody's in 50 of them, and how do you create an environment that people want to be in? They feel valued. They feel like when they contribute, somebody actually sees it. That when they ask for prayer, somebody's praying. When they contribute a meme, somebody likes it. Like, how do you create that if everybody's in 50 different ones and half of them are dead and everybody's so busy? It is a lot of work. That's one of the reasons Taco works really hard to try to give authority to volunteers to be able to take on those kind of roles, right? Because otherwise people get left behind, and they feel like, I'll invest. Fine, I'll invest. I'll go. I'll join your Discord thing. The promise is that I'll maybe make a friend. I'll maybe be able to connect some folks. Oh, look, it's one more place that made a promise and broke it.
Yeah. I totally hear what you're saying, and I think just backing up when you were talking about live streaming on YouTube and exploring that, and then coming to Twitch, the culture of Twitch is very different from other social media platforms. I'm one of those weird people that way before COVID, I was live streaming worship services. I was putting sermons online before YouTube would allow you, because YouTube, when I started putting sermons online, allowed 3-minute videos. That was max that you could put online. And that's not a sermon, and they weren't doing clips. I guess I hadn't thought about it. I could have been the creator of shorts and reels if I'd have done that back then. But
that's not even the opening prayer.
Yeah, exactly. But I started, to do that as soon as YouTube said we can do live. I went, we're doing it, because I had people in 4 different directions, an hour away from the church, that were shut-ins, and I'm like, I can't go to you every week. I know you want me to. And we've got a DVD that we can bring to you. And when I started, they were doing a VHS tape, and they actually went to one person on Monday, then picked it up from that person on Tuesday, took it to the next person, and each day of the week you had a scheduled slot to get your VHS tape, because it had to be back on Sunday so we could record over it again. I'm like,
because you only had the one tape,
we're
right?
not doing that. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, how long has this tape been used? Well, we don't know. We haven't bought a new one, and we don't know how long. I'm like, oh my goodness, we need to.
That's so funny.
So my experience with tech has usually been a response to the need of the people, but always self-trained. So I'm never the expert in the room. I'm just the one that can make it run. And if we paid somebody, it'd be 10 times better. But we can't pay anybody, so I'm gonna be the best you got. But when COVID hit, I was, starting to realize Okay, we had been broadcasting online. The only people that were ever showing up to watch it was our shut-ins and our sick, you know, and that's what we designed it for. But then when COVID happened, I'm looking at our stream, which, by the way, at times when we put words on the screen up in front, we just move the camera to aim at the words on the screen because we didn't have people with tech skills high enough to be able to do multi-pushing and all of this. And I'm like, we got to change. We got to target the person at home. And while we were doing what we needed to, we were shut down for, ours I think was initially 7 weeks to stop the spread or something. And we were responding in that and trying to have everyone in the tech booth was all in one family. So nobody was getting anyone else sick. The tech booth came in. I was there. That was it. Nobody else. And we were trying to make it work. So I realized really quick, we need to greet people. So I had my son-in-law sitting at home, or if he came with me, sitting in the front row with YouTube, and he was the mod. I didn't even know what a mod was, but I knew we needed it. We need a greeter, because that's what a church does. We need a greeter coming in, asking people, what's going on, how are you doing? And then what was really funny, and I was like, this is why I really like, coming over to Twitch, because YouTube doesn't do this well still, of engaging the chat while things are happening. But I would pre-record stuff, so I'm there to make sure everything happens. I'm commenting in the chat while the service is happening, and I'm in the pew. Nobody can see me, but it's like, Pastor, that's weird. Why are you doing that? You need to be focused on what's going on. I'm like, that's how I'm focused on what's going on, is vibing in community.
And
with
it's
everybody.
funny because you're not only an early adopter, but you're someone who thinks about it in an exceptional way. Most churches, I would say 99.9% of churches, what they try to do is they try to replicate the Sunday morning experience on their service or online. And their assumption is that everybody wants to have the exact same thing that they would get on a Sunday, but virtually, right? So they want to sit there and they want to be in their pew and they want to just kind of observe what everybody else is doing, sing along, listen to the sermon, and then leave. And what they don't recognize is that number one, they aren't actually replicating that, because the people, the greeting, the before, the after, the coffee, the conversation, all that stuff isn't happening. It's on and then it's off. And the second is that people who are engaging in online ministry, people who are actually the target audience, not necessarily the shut-ins, but the people who like we just talked about, they consume that kind of media differently.
Yes.
Right? They don't just sit there and cross-armed kind of watching and doing this. What they do is they engage and they react and they want to participate at the same time, which is why most people would rather watch a reaction video to a thing than watch the original video.
That's interesting.
And the reason is because they want to have it's a pseudo relationship, right? It is a parasocial relationship that they're having with the person who they can at least experience the thing with, so that when they laugh, they have someone laughing with them. So when churches do that kind of thing, it shouldn't be a replication and everybody sit there quietly. What it should be is a recognition that this is a different culture and that they engage with this differently. So therefore, during sermon, like you said, during the sermon, they chat, they do emotes, they answer questions. When the announcements are happening, they instead of just sitting there tuning in, they actually can look at the camera and say, "This one's for you," kind of thing, or beforehand. I'm thinking about. This is all in my mind right now, because I'm talking to my pastor and I'm talking to the tech guy at my church. Literally, we're making a meeting right now. Oh, cool! So I can do this at the church. I want to go, listen, man. I want to come in and I want to start at 9 a.m. And I want to be able to have get in, set up, and then we will have a pre-show where we hang out, play some games, do something fun, maybe do a little bit of community thing. Then we jump into the church service, and then we comment our way through, and we do reaction stuff the same way we do it on Twitch. And then afterwards we maybe have some fun, do some breakout, that kind of stuff, right? If in your mind, and this is the thing I'm trying to do across Canada, I'm part of a virtual neighborhoods group, which has been which is a group that's put together through the Alliance denomination that is the mission is to try to figure out how we can help traditional churches across Canada be able to make the conversion and to understand digital missions. And it's been slow. Been doing it for a while now. Been slow, but we've made some big strides, right? So being able to get some people involved, being able to get head office involved. I just heard that the president of the denomination finally knows who I am and has finally seen some of my stuff and is excited about it. And the presentation that I gave recently, that I wrote recently, was given to a group of pastors in Thailand who were there having a big meeting, and some of them were excited about it. And so I'm like, okay, it's starting to happen, but now I can maybe come in and kind of go, okay, I'm doing it at my church.
Right.
Come see what we're doing. Right. Instead of being, here's a theory that I have, I want to actually be able to be doing it in such a way that it ministers to the people we're trying to minister to.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And, just
pre-show, baby.
Yeah, pre-show, the pre-show. Well, even just think about that.
Just three pastors talking about it's like a sports desk. Like, why do you think it's going to go today? It's like, well, I think if he really tries hard,
you know how fun
he's
that
probably
would
going to be able to engage some folks.
A couple of sports announcers, and then you go to the sermon, and you have segments of the sermon with pauses, and you go back to the announcers. Well, how do you think he did?
You got a little drawing the pencil with the lines. Right. Like if you notice here,
well, he did a good job of diagramming the sentence there in Greek and Hebrew for us, and I really understood what he was.
Let's break that down.
Yeah. Now the cultural reference there, I think he missed a little bit on that one. I think it was an over the head of everybody in the audience there. Oh man, that would be so much fun. But I think what I noticed.
Meanwhile, everybody's drinking Gatorade.
Oh yeah. Yeah, when COVID happened, this is really, I think, what partially opened my eyes to realizing some things was I needed feedback in the middle of my sermon. It was so hard to preach to an empty room because the sound people and everybody that was there to produce, so to speak, what was happening to everyone at home could not react in the way that they would necessarily want to because they're doing a job. So they're focused on the job they're doing, and it's like practice session. I'm going just preaching to a dead room, and then having a theater.
Dude, at least you had people there.
Well,
I just had me and the phone.
Yeah,
that was it.
It wasn't necessarily much better, but it was like, oh, it was so hard. So when I got invited over to Twitch, and it was, oh my goodness. In the middle of anything that I'm talking about, we can stop and engage and interact, and I don't have to keep going forward. If you're not getting what we're talking about, we just stop, and it's amazing.
Yep.
Now,
or someone comes in and they're like, "I'm having a crisis right now. Help me."
Oh right? yeah.
And I think that's one of those wild things about Twitch ministry or online streaming ministry anyway, is that there really are people who are going through some pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty difficult stuff. Really mind-meltingly difficult mental health issues, relational health issues, abuse issues. And they will come to Twitch, type in the word Christian or pastor or help or something, and just go find somebody and just be like, hey, this is my situation, help.
Yeah.
And it's happened to me like many times. And you would think that, because one of the accusations against the internet is that they are, because of the anonymity, people can say whatever they want, and that lets them be mean. But I say it this way: because of the anonymity, they can say whatever they want, which allows some of them to be themselves for the first time, which allows them to share things they never would have before with anybody else.
Yeah, there are some barriers that come down with having a little anonymity, of being able to feel safe to share things, and it's not going to ruin my life if it goes bad.
Right.
I actually have, because I've friends in mental health who are counselors, and I asked them, and as we were in COVID, how was this going for you? And a couple of them said, this is fantastic. The reason is that person that sits there for a half an hour of our 45-minute scheduled thing and says nothing and won't deal with the problems because they're uncomfortable, finally looks at the clock and we spend 10 minutes dealing with something and say, okay, next week. They come in their home. They come in their home environment. They are relaxed, and within 5 minutes, we are talking about what we need to be, and we get to spend 40 minutes talking about the things in their life to deal with them, instead of wasting 40 minutes of our time together.
Here's another take, right? There's some people that come to your church that they can't hear. right? They
Oh,
can't
yeah.
hear because so they can go home and they can listen to it at whatever volume they want, right? There's some people that have a hard time seeing, but they don't want to come sit at the front. For them, they can make it as big as they want. You're right. There's some people who don't understand, and they're not quite there. They second language. They can put on, they can sit there and pause and wait and listen. There's software that will translate for them in real time. The barriers that we have, that people have to coming into church and sitting and listening, people don't grasp that. There are autistic people who for them church is the worst.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like everything they hate is the first thing churches do.
Oh, yeah.
Come into the parking lot and we're going to greet the snot out of you, and then we're going to reach out and we're going to shake your hand, and we're going to bring you into a room you've never been into. Go ahead and find the chair you want to sit in next to a stranger. Then we're going to make you stand up, sit down to be able to figure that out, to sing songs you don't know. And then we're going to have you stand up and shake a stranger's hand. Like everything about that is just the worst for them.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so how are they going to be able to engage properly, spiritually, with what the pastor's saying and with what the people are doing? They can do that on their own speed and their own level and at their own comfort digitally.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I said, we could keep going on that, but I do want to get more of the whole story of things. So, you had, what do I do now? I have to do something, God. And God say, a good friend giving you advice saying, hey, pour into the thing that you're already doing. And then confirmation from an outside source that says, no, we're not going to give you a job because that'll take away from what you're supposed to be doing. And then you just decide, I'm going live. How long did you go live for when you started? Were you doing 4-hour streams, 6-hour streams, 8-hour stream? How was that first day and first month for you of going live?
When I first started, I was just trying to replicate what everybody else was doing. Okay. Right. So I'm like, I put my overlays together, and when do people go live? When do people do stuff? Well, probably after 7 p.m. Right. So 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. till 10 p.m. And then I'm on there. I don't know if anybody isn't a streamer, but it actually takes a lot of juice out of the system when you're on and live and whatnot. And people have pointed this out before. I said out loud one time, I'm a pretty chill guy. I consider myself to be pretty low energy, and like I'm not really like hype. And like all of a sudden, what is wrong with you? Are you crazy? Like, do you know how much energy you expend just in a normal stream? And I'm like, okay, that does make sense why I'm fried at the end of it. But it was, you're learning and you're on and all that stuff. So I did about 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours.
Okay.
And it was just gaming. My first game I ever played was Mario Lost Levels, which in my mind, the way that it thought would like, this will be fun. It'll be funny to watch me try to do this. It'll be neat to be able to, get there. All it did was make me mad. And I was just upset the whole time. Like, this is stupid, and I hate this game. Why is this unfair? And everybody's watching me, and then I'm embarrassed. And like, it was just terrible. It was just terrible. And so it took probably 3-4 months for me to really come around to the fact that I can play something I enjoy ish, somewhat, not just trying to chase some kind of trend, and to go, I can't stream after supper. I don't have the juice. I have a family. I have kids. I have a wife. I have things. And when is the time where I'm most able to be on and connect and engage and be free and have the energy to carry? Well, it's at noon.
Yeah.
When I come in, and so I'm like, I'm gonna do this during my high energy time, and let's see what happens there. And it's been going good so far.
Yeah. With figuring those things out, how long did it take you to reach different levels, like being an affiliate and saying, oh, I've got viable income on some level, or I made it through the month? Because if you're going from a salary to no salary, how did that struggle work out for you?
So I'm a super nerd, so I want to know everything about everything.
Okay.
Right. So before I do it, like, how does this work and what's going to happen? And it made no sense to me why anybody would stream at zero for 0 followers. Like, but here's the thing. I have kids. I have a family. I have friends. I have established stuff. Right. And so I basically made my kids and asked some folks, I'm like, listen, I need you to be on there for the next 2-3 weeks. Just show up, listen, contribute. You know, I'm like, children, you have to do this or I'll send you to your room. Everybody else, please. Right. And so they were on. I never streamed to 0. I only ever streamed to 2, 3, 4. Right. And then what ended up happening, because I had 2 or 3 or 4, I was like way higher in the rank because I wasn't at 0. And so therefore people would be able to kind of stumble across, and I would try and do my best to do tags and titles and all that stuff. And so it didn't take me long. I think like I got affiliate within 6-8 weeks, maybe. Right. Because it was I needed well, not too bad. Not my dad. Too bad. You're going to sit there and you're going to be interesting and you're going to make me look good. Go. And it's
you want food in your belly?
You know, so I did. And then exactly. And then as people came in and they started to really, kind of connect, the kids dropped out. And then I was able to carry that momentum. When was I able to actually, I still haven't met my funding goal. That to this day, I haven't met my funding goal. God has been working miracles like crazy, for me. And
well, do you have,
because
you have 2 or 3 stories of where a surprise blessing came from God through your time of ministry, whether it's financial or otherwise, just something that unexpected happened because you're a digital streamer?
Okay, so I won't out anybody because when they give, they generally give quietly, right?
Yeah.
But like, say for example, 2 years ago, taxes hit. It's tax time. I'm not a nonprofit. I'm a self-employed person, and so therefore all the money that comes in gets taxed at the end of the years comes, and the government, the accountant wants $1,500. The government wants, I think it was $3,500. Like it was kooky, man. And I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to get that. That's wild. And so I just I shared it, and some guy texted me, and he's like, I'll pay your taxes. No problem. Here you go. Done. During the first year or so, my computer it just couldn't anymore. Like I streamed from the computer and I was trying to do my best to play whatever. And it got to the place I couldn't even play Minecraft, man.
Oh,
couldn't even play Minecraft. And I'm like, how can you stream if you can't play Minecraft, man? It's just because at the time it was like 13 years old or something, 12, 13 years old. And so I'm like, guys, my computer's melting down. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how to do this. I need a new computer. I go into Coffee, and I just said to people, hey, I need help, because if I'm going to keep doing this and you believe in what I'm doing, and help out. I put it on Coffee. Goal was $2,000. They gave, I think it was $2,240 within 2 days. I went to the Canada Computers, walked in there, and I'm like, that one. Somebody gave me a case, and so I'm like, that piece. This is what I'm going to need to do the video, to do all the rest of that stuff. This is what I need. And I put it all together and see what it comes to, and we'll start chopping the pieces out depending on what I need, And it came to like 2,238. Right?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just that God had given quickly,
right,
and that God had worked through his people in that kind of way, but it was exactly what I needed, like almost to the penny.
Yep.
And it was that was such an affirmation, not only from the community to kind of go, we believe in you and we're willing to help you out, but with God working through his people. Another one, like when my son died a few years ago, it was in winter, and I don't know if you know this, maybe you don't, I didn't. Burying people in the winter costs way more money because frozen ground, etc. I didn't know that. And so it's a whole thing, right? So like fair. But so we're like, I don't know how we're going to pay for a funeral. Like I don't have that extra money. And so I sent it out there. Hey, just need some help. Right. I sent it out to Coffee, sent it out to my people, sent it out to another site called Not the Bee, which is like an online sort of conservative social media site. And people just rallied, man. Like just in no time, I had enough money to pay for the funeral director, the plot, and the stone to be able to bury my kid. It was miraculous, and God's been doing that all the way along. It wasn't until 3 months ago, maybe, that I was able to move money from savings or from checking into savings.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
To be able to kind of go, I have more than I need this month. I could save that for later, right? Because for a long time I was living on savings. I was living on there, and it would go down, it would go up, and it'd be like batting the hatches and make sure nothing breaks. But God, I've never gone without food. I've in 20 some years of ministry, I've never missed a bill. I've been in a lot of different places, lost my job a few times, been in between, had this crazy thing, never missed a bill, not once. God has always been providing for me, and I don't hear any credit for me in that. It's just that God's been very gracious, very kind.
Oh yeah, no, I totally understand where you're coming from, like, because when someone just calls you and says, "Hey, I'll pay your taxes for you," there is a humbleness of accepting that, but there's also an acknowledgement the only reason that they're doing that is because God placed it on their heart to do that. They're not going to get credits, they're not going to get accolades. I'm not going to go broadcasting who paid my taxes. They probably don't want to be known that they're paying taxes either.
Yeah, no,
a few other hands will go up.
That was explicit.
Yes.
Do not tell people it was me. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I guess if anyone's looking to pay taxes, just let me know. I've got a few friends that could use. I'm just kidding.
Not this year, Supersonic. It was covered 2 years ago and the year before. This year's taxes have yet to be done. We'll see what God does. Well,
it is, and I think that maybe people in the secular world that have friends that have done GoFundMe with tragedies do realize and understand that people are caring and generous at heart, and that those things can happen. But I'll just say it this way. I think places like Twitch or small community micro churches are where we really see the body of Christ be able to come alive and be more similar to the book of Acts, where they had everything in common and they gave to those who had need. And when people are seeing your need and they're going, well, I can give to that because you have need and you are doing the work.
That's the secret.
Yeah. But
it's they can see.
Yep.
A lot of times in the big churches, a lot of times not in always big, but people don't share their need. They don't tell people anything. They come in, they leave, they come in, they leave, they join, they go to class or whatever. But when it comes to them having a bad time or they need something, they generally withdraw. Right? Oh, I don't want anybody to know. I don't want to be embarrassed. I lost my job. I don't want people to ask questions. Whereas in a small church, or online for that matter, it's actually quite tight knit. And so therefore, all of a sudden, what happened to so and so? Why are they not here? Or hey man, what's going on? And he just looks like crap because he came to shit. Like he's seeing you. I can see you look terrible. What's going on? And then you get to see, because someone has had to share, because they were caught in a need, you get to see the body of Christ kind of come alive and go, you know what? Go, let's help.
Yeah.
That's why half the advice that I give is go talk to somebody, go tell somebody, open your mouth, stop hiding. Yep. Being in the dark is bad. That's what I say nonstop.
Yeah, it's definitely something I've seen, and you can't give to everybody that has something. You can't give to everybody that has a need, but God will place it on your heart when you're the one supposed to be giving. When you have,
well, you don't need to. Yeah. That's the beauty of the body of Christ, is that, the people, God has a big family. God has a lot of people. Some people, and, there's some people who really disparage the wealthy or disparage the talented or, whatever. But the truth is, God sets aside some people they're just really good at making money, or they're just really good at whatever that skill is. And that's a good thing. And when it's their time, they do it. You don't have to. There are other people that can, unless, usually it's because you have an affinity,
Right.
You feel that sense of grief. You're weeping with the one who weeps.
Oh, yes.
You're having some kind of connection to it. And you go, you know what? I feel like if I was in that situation, I'd want someone to show me grace. So I will.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's just amazing to hear that. I've experienced it myself. I know other people that I've been in their streams and seen it happen in theirs as well. And just thinking about that, I say, as you were getting started, did you spend a lot of time going around and watching other people, or before you started, or when you were first, getting rolling, and trying to create community across with other people?
Dude, I was that guy. So I worked 14 to 16 hours a day for like 9 months in a row, 7 days a week. I hit it as hard as I could. And a lot of that was because I wanted to learn what I was doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I want to learn. And so I was the guy who would jump into Eagle Garrett and be like, hey, you got a second? I want to ask you a question about, OBS, or what are overlays and how do you get those? Like I was totally that guy. Eagle Garrett and Pastor Dustin and Dr. Heels and Miss Positivity and who else? Like just that was I was like they were all super nice, super kind, super helpful. Not once did I be like, it's not time for that, man. It was always, I'm happy to help and I'm happy to listen. And then as I kind of learned and watched every video under the sun and every possible, tutorial, that started to get a little bit of a handle on it. Although, I still don't know what I'm doing. Like, it's so funny. Someone asked me, like, my computer completely melted down before stream today. And someone said, are you in portable mode? And I didn't answer their question because I don't know what portable mode is. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
What portable mode is either. So, okay. You mean it's a laptop and I can take it with me? It's portable?
Yeah, exactly. So it moves? What's happening?
Yeah. No, I bolted it to the floor. It's not portable.
Yeah, it's a PC. I can't take it anywhere.
Yeah, I can say I love that, because I think on some level we often go into it, think we have all the expertise we need on something, and there is nothing that I need to learn. And I want to say, within the church, whether you're a missionary that gets trained and goes overseas, or whether you're a pastor that gets trained and goes into a church, we kind of view the church that way. Like, oh, they've been trained. They know everything. They know it all. They're the one in charge.
Or God will take it from here.
Yeah, they're the ones here. We can just hand it all over, and they can do what's needed. And instead of, realizing, no, I'm on a learning curve. Boy, I can say, if I would have, people will ask the question, like, what would you tell yourself, if you could talk to your younger self? I never really can come up with an answer, but the one thing I would probably say something along the lines is you will never stop learning. You will be a lifelong learner, and the need to learn something at a bigger and faster pace is just going to get bigger the older you get, because you're gonna naturally fall behind as the pace of life changes. Whereas when you're a kid, you are in the middle of the flow of life and culture, and you're absorbing everything,
and it's meted out to you.
Right. Yep.
Shadow Tuner just followed.
Yeah. So
Hey,
that which transitions into Taco, right?
Oh yeah,
because
exactly.
one
Perfect.
of the, you
That's
talk
what
about,
I was going to go.
One
to
of
next.
one of the things missing is what about digital missionaries?
Yeah.
Right. What about these people that are? And so as I was streaming, and I did this for 6 months or so, all of a sudden more and more of these I'm a Christian streamer. Hey, I just found you. I'm a Christian streamer. Hey, I just found you. I didn't realize there were other Christian streamers that were online. All of a sudden that was happening more and more and more and more. And you're a pastor, and what's happening? Okay, cool. And the thirst wasn't, okay, cool, a pastor. It was, I need affirmation, man. I need someone to tell me that what I'm doing is okay, that the people that I love and I'm trying to serve are worth loving and serving. Because when I went to my pastor, he was like, that's dumb and stop that. And I went to my parents, and I went to my community, and I went to so I do this underground, man.
Yeah.
Nobody's telling me what to do, and I'm making it up as I go. All the advice out there is completely secular. And so I don't, what am I doing? Right. And so as I hear this more and more and more and more, I start bouncing back and forth with the people that are in chat and going, hey, listen, this is a serious thing. Before that, you talk about God's provision, right? So
Yep.
I got about 6 months in. I think it was about 6 months in. And I started going, I need help. I can't do this myself. God, I need a team. And like, I don't have any money, and I don't have anything I can give you to be on my team. So I just went, God, okay, here's 9 things I need, man. I just need these. Like, I need someone to help with editing, and someone to help with like trends, and someone to help with like praying for me, and other, just here's the list of things I need, God. and I sent it out to the group, and I said, this is what I need. These are some people I need help. Within a day, I had 9 people, boom, on what I called the Stream Dream Team. And that Stream Dream Team, they were helping me out, and I could just ask them for stuff instead of like, hey, could you please maybe think about possibly helping me out? Possibly. It was like, hey guys, I need this, right? And they were cool with it because they weren't on the team. So I started talking to them. I'm like, guys, we're seeing more and more of these creators coming into chat and talking about how they don't have support. We should do something. What would it be like if we created a Christian creator network? What would that look like? And so we bantered that around for months and months and months, until we came up with TACO, the Alliance for Creative Outreach, which started really the real solidification was when I went, I'm going to teach these people. God went, you know what? Like, and I mean, like almost literally verbally, it felt so clear. It was, you know what you've been doing all along, and the pastor I called you to be. I want you to do that.
Yeah.
But here, right? I didn't change your call, and I didn't change your purpose, and I didn't change your gifts, and I didn't, all the stuff you're doing with video games and having fun and all the rest of that stuff. That was just a little bit of a trial kind of error. Go back, do the thing I called you to do. Leadership development, community development, biblical teaching, do that. And so I'm like, okay. So I decided I was going to put together a course based on John Maxwell's Equip Leadership, which is a biblical leadership course. And so I'm like, let's do it. And so who wants to be part of it? Full. Class is full. I'm like, okay, I can do 8. Or 9. I think we did 9 or 10, because we're going to do an evaluation every single time one person gets evaluated. And that's as much as time as it takes. And so that's what we're doing. And so they came in, and of course it was mostly Stream Green Team and mostly people that were on the inside. And so we did the class, and it was all me just kind of mentally converting the equip stuff into what I'd learned about streaming, and then did it again, and then did it again. And I'm like, wow, this is, every time I do this, there are people who want this. And so that became, what do we do with the people that go through the class? Well, they need to be, continued care. They need network. They need to have a place to ask questions. They need to have a place to they can support one another as Christian content creators. And then we started talking about a team. What would it look like? In my vision, my original vision, I still keep this in the back of my mind, but we haven't really talked about it as a group for a while. But that is basically, I want to take over the calendar on Twitch. So I want there to be a taco streamer that is available 24/7, right? I want someone to be able to tune in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever time, and find someone that's on that is doing something relevant to them, relevant to the time, relevant to whatever they're doing, whether it be the morning devo or the gamer or the team, the competitive team that you're cheering for, or the people who talk about the news, or the late night DJ who's just doing chill stream stuff, like a talk show, Bible guy, like just have that across the board 24/7. So there's always a excellent, qualified, checked out, knows what they're doing, actually has good audio person 24/7, right? So I'm like, let's do that. So that kind of started with the team. And so we're like, what are we going to do? Let's go. We need some qualifications for the team. And that team is going to be, people who get it. That's the qualification. Right, you have to get it. You have to figure out what we're doing here, and get it and want and care. And that was like 3 or 4 people. And so we're like, let you be the team. But here's my vision. And this was a tough sell, guy. I want you to bring your community over to one Discord.
Yeah.
I want you to shut down your Discord. Tell them all to come to one taco Discord. So there are multiple streamers, multiple communities, all taking care of each other at once. And the response was no. I will not be doing that. And so I'm like, well, all right, find a compromise or whatever. But they came over, and now the taco Discord has a representative of multiple different communities, multiple different streamers with multiple different interests. And these communities are all kind of intertwining, taking care of themselves and different, because like I said, it's so hard to find an active Discord. Well, how do you make an active Discord?
Oh, yeah.
Well, have multiple leaders in there, have multiple communities in there, multiple people who care about stuff, right? Ukulele tried, but a community mutiny, they said no, right?
Yeah.
So that's, and that's where that came from, because it was like, we can't just do stream stuff. We have to have a offline active community too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think if just to step off of that for a minute, this is this is what I keep trying to tell my friends, who I have lots of friends who are pastors, and I'm trying to tell them all this. And I just actually had this conversation in a group of pastors yesterday, talking about what you need to realize is when you go online, you're not going online just to create content. You're going online to connect with people. And when you connect with people, you need to have community. So if you are not connecting, the content doesn't connect to them, and they're not have a place to connect and have community, then they're just a consumer, and then you're competing against everybody. The thing the local church can do differently than the church that's on television is they can, and it doesn't have to be in Discord. I happen to think Discord is one of the best places to be able to do it, but not everybody's on Discord. You're not going to bring everyone over in a physical church. But
No.
if you're in gaming, they're there. But you're right. You need to have multiple people. I mean, just imagine, one of the churches that you were at, you're the only one that could call anybody in the congregation, and nobody was allowed to call and talk to each other. And you had to just, if you got busy.
Brother, you know how that is.
I know.
That is how it is.
Right.
You're the pastor. You're supposed to call. You're the pastor. You're supposed to visit.
Right.
You're the pastor. They're sick. You should go. Like that's, and half the time it's such a weird conversation.
Yeah.
Because you look at them like, no, that isn't my job. And then they look at you, but that's what we pay you to do. And you're like, no, it's not.
You pay me to help equip you to do the ministry. That's really what it's
I
supposed to
equip the saints for
Right.
ministry.
My job is to equip
They don't
you.
like that.
My job is not to do
don't
your
like
job for you. My job is to equip you.
Yeah.
And you're right. You're absolutely right. I am in some dead, Discord servers. There's some that probably are not dead, but I never got active in them myself, and I just don't. I probably have 10 that I check regularly, and I'm active in. And some of those are not active, but I need to stay connected with a couple of them, including my own. My own is not as active as other ones that I'm basically a mod in another one. Instead of my own, I'm investing in the other because it's in some ways easier for me to invest in things that are ongoing than to come up with, hey, question of the day kind of thing. I'm not a question of the day kind of thing.
My advice for small streamers is, why do you even have a Discord if you're not going to be in there? Go find an active Discord, whether it be Taco or Church.digital or one of your favorite big streamers that has a ton. Just everybody go join that one. Like, no, you're not taking it over, but now you're all sort of have a similar place. You can have conversations just chatting. You can do private stuff. It's more interesting, more active. You could, like this. Why sit there with a dead Discord when there's a dozen out there that you can join that do it better?
Oh, yeah. I think I actually resisted starting a Discord channel. Well, for two reasons. One, I signed up for Discord and I was totally overwhelmed, and I had nobody teaching me how to navigate myself around. And I'm like, okay, withdrawal. I don't know this. This is too steep a learning curve. I'll back away. And then my channel just kept saying, well, what's your Discord? I don't have one. Well, you need to get one. Okay, I'll get one. But I didn't think through. I could have joined somebody else's, and I've had conversations with other places of, should I migrate mine over or not migrate mine over? And some of it is I've become a curator of things like, hey, you want to know where there's a Christian streamer? You want to know a podcast? I got a list here. We got an ongoing, announcements kind of channel, but it's not you're missing something if you're not in there daily. No, you got to join a different Discord than mine for that piece of things.
Yeah. But you know what? Sorry, Donnie's like, if you move Discords, you lose someone. Yeah, you lose people who aren't contributing, so you're not losing anybody. Right? If they're not active and they're not paying attention, they don't even know you moved, and you're not missing anybody. You go with the goers. And yeah, if you're part of dead Discords, I totally get it. And here's some salt. One of the things that bugs me is when you're in a dead Discord and you leave. There has been zero activity in that thing for a year. You leave, but they have that feature where it alerts them when someone leaves. And so you leave, and then 5 minutes later, it's like, hey, I noticed you left my Discord. What's going on? And the last thing I'm going to go is like, your Discord is dead. You have absolutely no content, and I don't want to be there anymore.
Right.
I'm just cleaning house. Just don't have time to be online much.
Yeah. Like I say, I've got a few of those emails too when I left, but part of my problem at one point was my phone was an issue, and I was trying to leave. I couldn't load anything. It's like I got to clean up half my Discords and get rid of them because my phone's not operating. So I essentially went and I got rid of Discords that were only for single people. So if you're a community, you're a church, you're a network, I'm in there. With a few exceptions, I kept my pastor friends and a couple others that I interacted with all the time. But it was mostly like, I came to your stream. I joined your channel when I was getting, Discord up and going, and it was like, but I don't engage there. I got 1,000 messages I haven't read, or you've got no messages. So either way, it was like, I don't get to watch you often enough on stream to be active in your Discord, and if I was active in your stream, I might not need to be active in your Discord either. So.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things I wish I could change. It's just by virtue of the fact of life and busy and age and, having all the organization and stuff that I deal with. And that is, I'm not in enough streams for any period of time. I'll join in, I'll say hello, and then I'll try to stick around for a minute or two, and I'll lurk on 3 or 4 and, kind of keep it to the side if I'm working and whatnot. But I feel this perpetual sense of guilt that I'm not, A, meeting new streamers, or B, if I come across a new one, spending time in there, kind of getting to know them, because there's this ever-present, nonstop grind of my own stuff, and it's just, I'm so glad that people have been so gracious to me that when I joined into their stream, they're excited to see me rather than where have you been?
Well, to talk about that, because I think that's a beautiful thing that the church might not realize. So. Where I live, I don't know if this is the true where you are, if you have snowbirds up in Canada that just go south for the winter, from within your congregation. But, people will disappear starting around Thanksgiving, going into Christmas, American Thanksgiving, not Canadian Thanksgiving for any of those Canadians out there. They'll start going south, and some will be gone for a month, and some will be gone for 2 months, and some will be gone for 3 months. And it's like, you never know unless you know them personally. How long you gone? Are you back? And then when they come back, like, oh, it's great to see you again. Well, yeah, I just went south for the winter. What did you think? Well, I didn't leave the church. So then you're gun shy to talk to anybody. Or the opposite happens of you're not a snowbird, your kid was sick, and so you stay home a week and you come back the next week. We missed you last week. Where were you? And it's like, what? I have life that happens. But I had this awesome experience with Amber Lights. I don't know if you know Amber Lights, band in Australia.
I've never met her.
It's a band.
Never met her.
It's a band. It's not a person.
Oh,
so
all right. It's a great username though.
Yeah. So they're a band in Australia, and I would watch them. And I was going into the time change, going into November. So the U.S. goes one direction, and Australia goes the opposite direction. Now they're 2 hours apart from when I was watching them. I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. to watch them. It's not happening. Now, if I wake up, maybe I'll, can't sleep, I'll pull my phone out, but I'm not getting up to watch you anymore. So I disappeared from their channel until the stream, or the time change happened again in the spring. And then I'm back in their channel. I had the chat, not the streamers, not the band, but the chat was like, oh, hey, Flat Cap, it's so great to see you. How have you been? And it wasn't like I felt like they were guilting me for being gone. It was genuine excitement that I was there, and I went, oh, my goodness. You mean even in my absence, I have community with these people. And so when I come in, I have relationship and community. Like I feel with my best friend from high school. We pick up our relationship whenever we get together.
DJE just followed.
And I see him.
And that's...
Yeah, go ahead.
That's the digital golden rule.
Yeah.
Right? Is that the people that you're part of the group with and the people that are in that don't want to feel that either. Because a lot of them are... And this is what I've noticed online when it comes to creators or internet people or creatives. They are very gracious, very kind, very open, very willing to be sensitive to your needs. It's almost across the board because they recognize what it's like to slip into a depressive funk and not be able to get out of bed for a while. They recognize what it's like to have to go to work to a job you don't really want to do, and it's all of a sudden you're taking way more hours. They know what it's like to not be able to put two thoughts together because you've been ADDing all over the place or whatever. It's just they get it. And so when you show up into that community, it's a group of people who are like, I'm not going to jump down this guy's throat. Why would I do that? I'm just excited that they're here.
Yeah.
As opposed to some group. And I'm not going to just slag the church. I think one of the habits that Christian streamers get into is slagging the traditional church. We shouldn't do that. They're also Jesus kids. But so other groups where it is, like you said, it's a negative experience coming back. It's not good. It's not a nice thing. Whereas I think online it always seems to be. I don't know. They're just really nice people. and as somebody who grew up bullied, with all, like for my whole youth, not very many friends, socially not really great, and who has a natural sort of fear of people and parties. Like I don't do that stuff. I'm an introvert, right? For me, like my usual connection to a group is discomfort. Right? I was a pastor for a long time. The only way I could be comfortable in the room is if I had a job.
Yeah.
If I was emceeing or if I was teaching, I was preaching, I was cooking, I was whatever, then I could kind of hang something on that. But if I was just attending, I felt so self-conscious and nervous. Like I didn't like being that. And so but when I come online and I show up in my own way, in my own comfort zone, at the to content and someone that I know already, kind of thing, and I show up and I say hello, it's always a positive experience. I don't think I've had a negative online experience jumping into a digital community, like even on my stream.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think my mods would accuse me of being naive, but the truth is that when it comes to trolls and people coming in and being horrible, I very, very rarely have any of that kind of stuff. Usually because if they come in and they ask a dumb question, I'll just straight up answer it because it's an AMA. Let's go. But it's it's been such a positive experience online. Overwhelmingly so. And remember, I'm a guy who dealt with who pastored an abusive church and who dealt with a lot of church hurt. So therefore, my natural inclination towards groups of people isn't that they're going to be very nice to me.
Yeah.
Right. I have a basic in all my relationships, all of them to this day, is the assumption that you're going to leave and that you're not actually being my friend. You are pretending. And that at some point you're going to finally show your true colors, finally get tired of me, finally, you'll finally get tired of pretending and you'll just leave. Because that's what always happens.
Right.
And so because that's sort of my baseline, when I enter into a community and it's, hey, good to see you, welcome. That's so cool. You know how much it like the borderline tears I'm at right now, because I'll enter into some people's chat and be like, hey, and it's like, Christian Ninja's here. That feels so good because it's not something that I experienced for most of my life.
Right. I totally understand. And I think a lot of the people in our streams also don't experience a lot of that in real life either. They don't have, so even if they're not streamers, that welcoming environment, which, there's a part at which I've created culture before by creating a cross-country team from zero and small groups and creating culture within there. So I don't know how much I observed what was happening on Twitch and picked up what I wanted to within my culture, or I just had some really good mods that were coming in and helping to begin with. But I love to do when someone shares something that's hard, and like if this was sitting with a bunch of Christians that I might know in public and we're at coffee, they're all going to turn and look at me like, did they just say what I think they said? They're going to have those looks on their face. And so I know that from experience, some people in the chat are going to feel that. I've just gone to go and thank you for sharing that. I know how difficult that must be for you and how much, I appreciate and want you to know how valued I feel that you think this is a safe enough place to put that out there for all of us to know that. You have just honored all of us because you've identified we are safe. We're not trolls. We're not going to attack you. We are here to love and have you be part of our community, and you couldn't do anything more honoring to us than to share those things. I may not say it all that way, but that's the thrust of what's
Yeah,
behind
no,
it.
totally. Yeah. I'll tell a little story. Like, so a while back, let me start with this. I have been given baby mode when it comes to mods. I've only ever had amazing, consistent, very helpful, super engaged mods. I never had to go get them. They just were awesome to me, and I've had easy mode for a lot of the stuff that I've done in stream. So let's just give credit to where mods credit where credit's due. So, but in this case, so this guy came in, and he came in swinging. Like, I don't know what I was doing, but he comes in and is like, why can you believe the Bible is true, and how do you trust pastors if they're all corrupt, and why should anybody go to church? What's the difference between Catholic and Protestant? Just like hammering. And I'm like, slow down, let me get to one of these before I give me the next one. And so I just kind of went through and I was answering. The mod chat was like, should we ban this guy? Is this guy trolling? Like, what a jerk. He come in, you don't need to listen to the answer before he jumps in and has another one. Should we ban this guy? And I'm like, don't. He hasn't technically done anything wrong. Like, he's just coming in hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Go through and answer. Get to the end of, I don't know, question 6, 7, 8. And he goes, thank you. I'm autistic, and I'm been thinking about going to church for the first time, but I had so many things in my head that I wanted to ask about before I went. And you're the only one who actually took time to answer my questions. So now I think I'll go to church on Sunday. Right?
Yeah.
That's an exceptional moment on stream from somebody who, like, imagine they tried to do that in real life, or imagine they did that to somebody who had been trolled a whole bunch and was just like, what, out. How many people did he ask before he bumped into somebody who was willing to go, yeah, all right, let's do this thing and see what we can go. The digital environment is such a powerful place.
Oh, totally agree. And I think I'm on the same side that you are too. And I think that might be having served as a pastor and run into occasions where, we know people are going to bombard us and they're testing us, and that's not really always what they're coming up. They need to push at us to see if we're going to respond. And if we do, well, they can be justified in walking away. So we need to absorb the punches, so to speak, let them swing, or let them throw all their questions at once, and then just let it happen. I feel capable of handling that, just like you do. Not everyone on Twitch has that ability, and I think it's you make your own decisions.
It's the shepherd's heart,
yes.
right?
Oh, it totally is.
That's the thing.
Have you done the APES test? The apostle, prophet, evangelist, shepherd, teacher? Okay.
Oh, yeah. They called it something different, though.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to guess you fall shepherd, teacher. No?
Prophet.
You're prophet?
1,000%. 10 million % prophet.
Okay.
I might test different now.
Yeah.
But the for me it was very much the Bible says, and having people come up and go, so when you were talking, I think God told me, I'm like, well, you should probably do that. Or I'm mad at you because you said, and I'm like, well, I didn't say, the Bible said. You know what I mean? Like, so that was a lot of my ministry. So yeah, I was very much prophet.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that too. I think there's sometimes a crossover with teacher and prophet, depending on how you're approaching things. So,
but I've had to learn. Like, I mean, that's the thing about being part of this. I've been healed more in the last 4 years than I think I've been helped and healed more than I've ever helped and healed anybody here. Like, it's been a lot for me. I see this as a God giving me a gift.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like 16 years of really, really difficult ministry, and he's like, congrats, you made it. Almost that well done, my good and faithful servant moment on earth. And he's like, how about this? Why don't you go do the thing you love the most in an environment that you're comfortable to be, and let me give you like the easy mode success. Go. And it was, it's been an incredible experience for me.
Yeah. Well, why don't you, if you can, like expand on that and just thinking about you already shared a few, but just key moments that you just saw God show up in a stream. Because for me, some of those are like, when I've got I don't feel like getting up today and doing it, or I'm struggling or life is just overwhelming. I don't know if I have enough to get on stream today, or nobody's been showing up for the last week and my numbers are going down and no bits, tips, or subs are coming in. I try to hold on to what I just call those God divine appointments when either something happened to bless me or something happened to bless someone else. Do you have 2 or 3 of those in the last couple of years you could share?
Sure. How many in chat know Miss Duck Jada? If you know, put an emote in chat. Find a duck and put it in chat. So a while back, Miss Duck, who is from New Zealand, young woman from New Zealand, still in high school age kind of thing, and we're just doing my normal stream kind of thing, and all of a sudden she comes in, and she's like, I'm in the hospital. So for me, it would have been like maybe noon, like real close, 1 o'clock kind of thing. She's like, it's 6 a.m. here. My family's not around. I'm in the hospital. I got hit by a car, and they're telling me they're going to take my leg. They're going to come and I don't know what's happening there. And so she comes in. Of course, it's 6 a.m. Her family's sleeping, right? They're not going to come at 6 a.m. They'll probably come later. And so she needs comfort. I need someone right now. I need to talk to somebody. And so she comes into her digital community, on here, drops that, and we're able to pray for her, talk with her, give her encouragement. All the way through that week, she's, like, oh, the doctor's going to come on Thursday. Doctor's going to come talk to me, and I'm really nervous. And he said, I hope he doesn't, I really want, all that stuff. How a young woman who might lose her leg, just because she was on her bike and some, Yahoo hit her with a car. And so, like, she's going through some crazy stuff. And so we're able to celebrate with her when she's like, doctor's like, we're not taking your leg. And we're able to kind of, weep with her and be concerned with her. When she's like, it really, really hurts. And now I got to, at one point she gets back and she's doing really well, and then then gets an infection and comes, like, we've been on this journey with her as she comes in and she chooses to share and she chooses to ask for prayer and she chooses to tell us these updates. And that was a big moment, I think, for me in that stream was her realizing the power of being able to come in and go, I'm alone, and this is a big moment, and I'm freaking out, and help me out, right? Yeah. So there's that. I remember we had a.
Well, can I just ask follow up on that? So did she?
Yeah.
She did end up losing her, because I've seen her around, but I've not had any conversation with her. So she did end up losing her leg. How is she doing now?
She never lost her leg. Okay. They were able to sell. They went in. They did some surgery. They did et cetera, and in that surgery, they were able to reconstruct stuff. But she's been in a cast for a really long time.
Okay.
Various forms of cast and whatnot. She's still wheeling around, still in healing. She ended up. She got a spider bite that went bad, which is such a bummer. And they had it went. So yeah. So she's had it rough. She's very she's always chipper. She's always seems to be encouraging and fun. But yeah, she's still healing, but it's definitely not as bad as it could have been. Yeah.
That definitely rings true to me. Of she's reaching out, she finds you are able to, and your community is able to meet her in the moment. That definitely is a God appointment that took place to get her the comfort that she needed in that moment, to be with her, and then they. Mm-hmm. You have those, and you don't know if you're always going to see that person again. But the fact that she has now come back around in community and in building that relationship, those are fantastic.
Mm-hmm. We've had. I remember someone came in, and it's a bit of a rough story, but someone came in and they were talking about how as a police officer they had to take lives, and what do I do with that guilt and whatnot, right? We were able to talk about that, and we spent some time, like real hours, talking about this stuff, and really spending time about the gospel and about forgiveness and bringing it to God. God's the only one who could do that. And so they came back in. What the bummer of the story and what sucks about it is that we found out about 2 weeks later that they had been lying the whole time.
Oh,
and that they were using my stream to share horrible things about them being, whatever. And it was all a bunch of lies. I don't know why you want Christian compassion as entertainment, but regardless, it was a moment in our chat. I still remember it. It breaks my heart now. It still makes me sad and angry. But it was a time where, you could see the coalesce of the chat, of the people, of everybody. It sometimes in some chats and some environments, when somebody comes in and it's a gospel moment and time to talk to them about the grace of God, sometimes the chat lights up. It's like, here's all the apologetics I know, and here's the gospel, and here's 55 different scriptures, and they didn't do that, right? Like, there's been times where I've had to say, chill out, man, let's not try to bombard the whole thing, but it was more concern, it was kindness, it was sharing their own stories, and this is where how I felt for it. It was really, really powerful. It sucks that it ended up being a fib, but the way that the community responded and things that have come from that have been pretty exciting, right?
Yeah, I gotta say, I don't know. I could guess why they would maybe want to do that, but I've wondered at times, a couple of times, when I've had conversation with someone that just feels like, are you recording me? Are you going to clip this? This feels like you're baiting me into a conversation or to say something, and then you're looking for a reaction, and am I going to give you the reaction you want? And I'm just thinking, you know what, God, I'm going to do what I feel I should do anyway, and if they use it to try to do harm, you can make it for good. But so I just,
go nuts. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So okay, they came in, but so God used it for good in your community anyway. He helped your community to properly respond, whether the person was lying or not lying. They did well, it sounds like.
Had one guy come in, again, autistic, like almost certainly on the spectrum somewhere, and he 47 years old, lived with his mom. He didn't, she's up his nose about, he wanted to go play basketball. He wanted to go with his friends. She wants to keep him safe. She's doing all, she doesn't know to give him freedom because, he's got, disability, disorder, whatever. And, comes in just like, I'm losing my mind on my mom, and she's like controlling my life, and I'm starting to hate her. And how do I process all this? How do I deal with this? I want to do this, and I want to go to basketball, and I want to meet my friends, and they seem safe. She doesn't want me to go, and I don't know how to tell her. I don't know how to communicate it. And so we were able to kind of go through kind of piece by piece, part by part, kind of like, well, what if you said this? What if you tried this? What if you, maybe she does have concern, that comes from a real place. If, it's like, it is out of love. And so let's see if we can do this. And over a few days, right? Actually, over the course of, a month or so, you could come back in. I had a conversation with my mom. I was able to go to basketball. I was able to I was able to do stuff. I'm working through, I want a job. The guy won't tell me, I'm losing my mind. Why does the guy talk to me? So we're able to work, and just to kind of be there for people that need somewhere to process,
right?
Like you said, over a period of time. Because so much of it, especially is when that happens, is like, I got to be somewhere, man. I got to get home. I got to do a thing. I got a meeting in so long, or you're at a coffee shop and there's only so long you can sit in a coffee shop. But if I'm on here and it's like, I'm here for 4 hours, man, and I don't have anything afterwards. Sure. Let's go. I got nowhere to be. Let's talk about you. I love those situations. My mods could probably come up. Those are fairly recent ones. My mods could probably come up with a dozen more that happened before.
And I'm sure.
But they happen so often.
Right.
But
I love those, and you only need to have like two that you can hold on to for a long time and go, yeah, if I never have another person and another moment like that, and I never see anybody respond in chat again, but God's still calling me to be here. The VODs are going to reach somebody in the same way. I don't know who it is. There's some evergreen content here that's still going to be the gospel, that's still going to reach people, that somebody I don't know still could be impacted. Those are moments like I just like to dwell like, oh, okay, I can go do this again, even if it takes me another month before having one of those, because I've got to go in the in-between so that I'm ready when that next moment comes. I love the shifting back and forth between you and your stuff and Taco and where Taco is. So You talked about the founding and the organizing of Taco. Where is Taco at right now? How has it evolved to where it is right now? And what are the exciting things around what you've been able to do after that first course in Taco?
It's almost been an annual push, you know what I mean? Like, starts with, I don't know what we're doing, to, hey, I think we might know what we're doing, to who's the leadership and do we need paperwork and things like that, to all of a sudden God is, sending more volunteers. People, like, hey, how can I help? That kind of thing. I have skills and abilities I want to help. And so we have kind of a core of volunteers that are doing all kinds of stuff. And that was a big deal. We have a board. We have a leadership team, people that are, actual like projects and whatnot. We're talking about getting our second, I guess you'd say, employee that's coming. That would be like a paid person actually doing some work for the team, where we've served dozens. We're not quite 100 yet, but we're definitely, I think we're got to be around 60 more than that, people that we have taken through the class, right? We have the book now, so that's available. We're going to be launching another class. We started a virtual class, so one that instead of me having to be there and teach it, it's on video, and there's it's as you want to watch, instead of you have to be there on Saturday at noon kind of thing. So here's, this is the way it's going to go, and you can help. We've been invited down to Reach to go and not only bring a table, but we've got a room. They're like, here, a room, go do a room with stuff. And so we're, like, what are we going to do there? What's the plan? And I think the plan right now is we're going to be creating like a crash room. I talked to a bunch of people that had gone to Reach and kind of asked the question, what wasn't there that we could do to serve the content creators and make Reach better? Because it's not about us. It's about how can we serve people and how can we serve people, right? And we're like, here's an idea we had, crash room for people who get kind of overwhelmed or they need somewhere to go chill out. And so we're like, that wasn't there. We can do that. So we're gonna try to figure out how that would work. That's been exciting. I personally have been able to be able to speak more places kind of publicly. I'll be on main stage apparently at Reach, which is very exciting. With Taco, we have what other good stuff is happening, Uke? Give me some other good things that are happening. We got a podcast now. Yeah, we got a podcast now that has been. This is the second year. It'll be out that we're doing content creator training through and just kind of interesting stuff. The thing is, like, there's so much kind of in the works, and there's so much that we've come. I feel like this year has been really exciting when it comes to a push of connection, because my prayer was like, I'm really bad at this, the networking and talking to the other organizations and things like that. And I'm like, God, I don't know how to do that. You have to do that for me. And, now it's been more and more of that kind of connecting, and people going, would you want to talk? You want to chat? Like, for example, your thing kind of came out of nowhere. Be like, do you want to do a breakout session at the digital church thing? I'm sure, I'll do that. Like, I didn't ask for that. It just kind of came out of nowhere. These are little things that are happening all the time that allow us not just to quote unquote grow or get more popular or whatever. It's more about, once we can get exposure and people can actually see what we're doing, they are going to be able to go, oh, there is a place out there I can get training and get affirmation and connect with other content creators that are Christian and they get it. I didn't know that. There's a community, there are pastors out there. There's someone who is able to like that will, just, it's more about the exposure and trying to help out these content creators so that they know we're there. And to be able to have other organizations support that has been amazing.
Yeah, and I think going back, because I remember when you were talking about the idea of Taco, it wasn't called Taco yet, but just the idea of doing that, and all of us that were having those conversations. I mean, Pastor Deucen, I think, might have been in there as well. A couple other guys that didn't end up being in Taco, but just talking through. We were having similar ideas around. We need to help in some way bring awareness to what's going on, so that people being called to it and the church sees them, they say, oh, this is viable. This isn't you just wanting to sit in your basement, which I happen to be, and play video games all day and call it ministry. It was, no, this is real. And it is ministry, and it is a calling, and there is a mission field. And how do we help the church see it? Go ahead.
So God has done something very interesting over the last couple of years here, and that I think he started with raising up individuals, right? As in like people who are passionate about this, people who are insiders. I think the next phase was he's got some people who were within the traditional church, people who, had some longer teeth, more maturity, actual pastoral trainers, bringing those in and to kind of go, okay, we're going to try to build that bridge to a new thing, which is developing organizations that are going to actually help this. Because if you take the class, I have one section that's like, why is this so hard? And one of the reasons it's so hard is because we don't have heroes, right? We don't have, I want to be Billy Graham. I want to be D.L. Moody. I want to be Hudson Taylor. I want to be, like whatever. So like we don't have that, but we're building them, right? There are people that are doing that now. Second, we have these organizations are starting to come together, but with very different purpose, similar but different.
Yeah.
We're not competing.
No.
I'm helping Christian content creators to be able to flourish, unite, take care of each other. Church.digital is about digital missions, similar but different, right? You've got Love Thy Nerd, who's obviously been around for a while, who's doing live stuff and is meeting people in a more general way when it comes to nerd culture.
Yeah, doing a lot of cons.
You've got
doing cons and
outside stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to remember some organizations that I'm going to screw this up, but like you've got each different one that's raising up. What's what's Brandon's?
DC4C.
I can't remember. DC4C, yeah. So he's doing a different thing than we are. Like God has raised up leaders. He's raised up ministers. He's raised up people with pastoral backgrounds to be able to create organizations that not only support the ministry, because you got to start somewhere, but now we're starting to kind of like seeing these, quote unquote, like not seminaries, but like organizational
training
grow.
There's training places with
training, and that's exactly how the church worked, right? It was send a missionary, the guy just standing around going, hi, I like Jesus, anybody else want to hear about that? And then as that starts to grow, God sends in more mature people who can teach better, who can plant something that allows other pastors to grow and to push them out. And we're in that phase right now. Within the next couple of years here, probably within the next 5, we're going to start seeing a massive transition between this division of traditional and digital church to finally them coming around and going, oh, how do we get involved in this?
Yeah.
Because we don't just have people who know what they're doing, but they've known what they're doing for a decade at that point. We don't just have people who doing it well because they're individuals. We now have representative groups that have much longer teeth, who have served for a long time, who haven't screwed it all up, who haven't have demonstrated not only faithfulness but biblical integrity. Done that for a little while now, and so they go, because that's what they need to see, right? It's because at this point it's really hard to sell, because it's like, oh, how long you been around? 5 minutes.
Yes.
Give me money and your pulpit, please.
Well, and I don't know everybody that isn't a pastor who's gone to their church and tried to say, hey, support me in what I'm doing and God's calling me. But as a pastor, I've tried to go to my denomination and say, hey, I see a mission field. I want to work into this and I want to do these things. And the question is, well, prove us viability. Prove you viability. God's calling me. I'm not proving you viability. I'm proving you calling. Okay? I don't know if it's viable. I don't care if it's viable. I can be bivocational for all I care. I thought you might want to join in this.
I had the same experience when I first started, and everybody just saying no. I was able to meet a group called New Ventures within the Alliance denomination who was able to bring me on board as an actual minister. I'm a licensed pastor, the whole 9 yards, real ministry that is all traditional and everything.
Yes.
And so I consider part of my job, I feel, is to not only be a great streamer, to do my best to be a good streamer and bring people in and to let them see what it's like if you try to do it right as a Christian streamer and whatever. But to be the one who kind of gets to bash their head against the traditional church until I'm the one that's bleeding and the wall finally fell down. And other people who come after me can go, well, Christian Ninja did it. And he's got a couple churches that are with him and he's been doing it for a little while. I'm just doing what he's doing. Once you go, and they can go, oh,
yeah,
it's got other churches. Oh, he's actually knows what he's doing. Oh, there's a training thing. Oh, like working with Dort. I'll be speaking at Dort University as for their 1 year gaming ministry certificate program. Right? That's that. Oh yeah, there's a program. You can go take it so you can know how to do this. It's got legitimacy, but it's going to require people like you and me who to be that bridge to be able to figure out a way that others can point to us and go, yeah, I know it works because they did it.
Yeah.
They did it.
Yeah.
DORDT. Okay. Excuse me.
Sorry.
DORDT.
Yeah.
It's but yeah, so and it's like pulling teeth. It's awful. It's awful. I was part of that virtual neighborhood group for a year before we even did anything. Finally, I just said, because I came in after they started it, and they're like, you should be on that thing. And finally I went, guys, can I say something? And so I just laid down a vision, laid down a structure, laid down a plan, got together an annual thing, threw it at them, job descriptions, the whole 9 yards, and they all went, this is amazing. We should think about doing this. And then nobody got back to me. So I'm like, okay, here's another pitch, and what do you guys think? And eventually, they're all like, yeah, we should put together a document that we can bring to other pastors. And I'm like, cool. So I went and put together a document, sent it to them, and like, why don't you put some things in here? One person got back to me and actually submitted a couple things. And it's like, so it's trying to drag these people it's just like turning the Titanic around, man. It's rough. But at the same time, we're seeing progress. I'm seeing good things happen. I get to be in contact with head office, the head office of the entire thing. So therefore, I get to kind of push this forward so that their missionary page is no longer from like the 90s, so that they can have a blog on there and some pictures. You know what I mean? Instead of just having like a link. It's like, okay, let's go. So we can so I can be the one who goes to the denominational meetings and stands there and goes, hi, I am an old man like you, so therefore I can also speak that old man language. Let me explain to you how this kind of works. And then hopefully, by God's grace, all these content creators that I'm training and that are coming up behind can go, it's easier for me now. There's a path been trodden through the jungle that I can walk.
Yeah. And I love how you were describing that, of the wave of it. There were some pioneers who were first in without seminary training on some level, that were just called by God sharing the gospel. And then some of us started coming in who have some seminary training and lifting up and encouraging those. And now we have organizations that are coming alongside of. And the Church.digital, I don't know, we joke around at what version we're at, version 3 or version 4.0, whatever it is. But we've gone through some stages of change. So for a while, we were trying to be a discipleship organization and helping to focus with church planting, and we were doing that, and it was like, but we're running into people, and we have people hanging out that are never going to plant a church, and and their ministry is like not what we're doing, but they're hanging out, and it's like, okay, God, but we just kept like bumping up. Oh, you can't plant a church in digital space. The language of title was causing problems. Oh, you can't do discipleship online. Yeah. And then we suddenly saw there's lots of people trying to figure out discipleship online. It's like, should we still be doing that or not? We've got a bunch of people that are doing ministry online, and they're pioneering stuff. How do we hit that? So we've
unlicensed, untrained, unsupported.
Exactly.
No idea what they're doing. All the heart in the world, and sometimes doing more damage than they are helping, but with the best heart.
Yeah.
Those are the people we got to grab onto, and we got to help.
Yeah. So we made the shift. I want to say those conversations probably started a year ago after Exponential, and they took 3-4 months for us to process through and say, no, we're not going to be a church planting organization. We're going to be a digital missionary sending agency. Nobody is doing that. Wherever you are going. So I'm I'm our catalyst focus outpost leader for gaming. So I'm focused on gaming. That's where I'm. That's where I'm hanging out.
I'm not laughing at that. Is not. Sorry, I'm not laughing at you.
No, I'm
like, you are so not a gamer. What are you doing?
Not that I am the one that is going to be the person. I'm the one who is helping equip and empower people. No. Well, we'll do a game here in a little bit.
That's what I love. That's what making me laugh.
I know.
Is that like you are not gaming? Like you're not the game, but it's like God's like, okay. Here's a bunch of people that can, but here's what they can't do, and so like here's your part. Well, I think it's so funny.
Yeah.
I laugh at myself, dude. I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing either. Like,
part of it is culturally. I grew up in the era of one-player games, two-player max. You know, not online, massive multi. And I'm like, I never understood, why would I want to play video games with people I don't know? I just didn't understand that when it came out.
Who are better at me? Yeah.
Yeah, like, no, I want to beat the game. I don't want to beat somebody else. You know, that was always my thing.
Right.
But, well, I don't know if I've shared this with you before. I was in a pastor group when I lived in Iowa, and I think there were 8 pastors in the group, and 6 of us were Assassin's Creed player.
Oh, far out, really? That's so funny.
Oh, man. So when a new Assassin's Creed would come out, we would just, like, hijack the conversation for an hour talking Assassin's Creed. And the other 2 people in the group are like, okay, should I go home now? Are we going to talk about anything else? Are you guys just going to talk Assassin's Creed for an hour?
No, we're not. That's it.
So,
please leave. You're in the way.
But, but my journey into the space is about the people in the space, not about me being the expert gamer. It's being the person that is going to elevate and is going to connect and is going to platform and raise up and help out. But we also have people that are in Germany that are doing church plants in Germany, digital churches, and we've got connections in India and Pakistan where there are physical missionaries who are there trying to figure out, okay, we're being persecuted. How do we use digital tools to make a kingdom impact and to keep ourselves safe and all of those things? So it's like God's placed us in a different place. So we want to come alongside. We don't want to copy what you're doing. We want to help people know what you're doing. We want to help, say, hey, check out what our friends over here are doing. You can do something similar and adapt it to your space. You can do amazing.
That's what I'm saying. There's no competition.
Yeah.
There's it's just people trying to help each other.
Yeah, totally.
Which isn't true. And again, I'm not going to bash traditional church, but you and I have been there, and you and I have sat in ministerials, right? Where there's always this undercurrent of competition. There's always this undercurrent of sort of like what do I get out of it? Or if I give you, then you're going to, there's always that. It always seems to be on the surface, how can we help each other? We should all be together talking. But then underneath, there's always this, well, yeah, but you can't take my people. And no, you can't have my money.
Right.
Why should we go to your church? Things like that. I don't sense that in here. There are individual, immature Christian content creators that look at and they see people like me or you or Deucin or whatever, and they see competition. And I keep going, listen, man, there's like 3 billion people, gamers in the world. There are hundreds of millions of people that are watching live streams, and my 30 are not in your way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We're all in this together, man. If you're seeing competition, that is a demonic temptation. So quit it.
Yeah. Well, and then even just think about, I've thought about this too with raid trains. How cool would that be in a physical setting? And this is my vision one day. I'd love to see this happen. Of Easter Holy Week, you get done with the service and everybody from one church leaves and goes to the next church, and you have your service, and then you leave and you go to the next church, and
like a progressive supper, but like with worship.
Right, but with worship. Just like a raid train. We go from one streamer to another streamer.
I see no way that could be complicated.
No,
that would be smooth as butter.
Yes, totally. Oh, it's just a fantastic idea on some. It will never happen, I know. But it sounds like a fun idea for me. You know, like not everyone's going to hang out the whole time. Nobody hangs out the whole. Well, I shouldn't say no one. Not everyone hangs out the whole time. When you do a raid train, you move from one to the next. You might start in one, move to the next one, and then you don't go on because you have something else to be. So I'm not, thinking that, well, if we have 10 churches and they're all 100 people, we need to have a venue of 1,000 for them all to sit there. No, you might show up in the one before your church, and you'll go to yours, and you'll go to the one afterwards, and then when you move on, you split. But the premise of us being the body and coming in with, hey, we just finished worship, and we are full of the Spirit, and we're showing up as you start worship to bless you. I just think I would love to see somebody try it. Let me put it that way.
The raid system on Twitch is ingenious, and especially like you said for the Christian content creator, because we take our community really seriously.
Yeah.
Like there's some fragile people in there. There's some people that we really love and respect. There's some folks that are we know that we've been kind of courting for a while, and we've finally been able to show some love to, and they finally trust us. And that raid, into another stream is a way of saying, I'm willing to, I want to bless you with this because I believe in what you're doing, but also B, I'm bringing my people over. I'm taking the risk to introduce them to you. And that's why anytime I get raided, regardless of size or whatever, it's always an honor, because it means so much that somebody would go, I trust you enough, and I believe in you enough, and I'm willing to invest in this enough. It bugs me to no end when I go to a stream and they haven't rated out. I'm like, because there's so many people out there that would love to be encouraged, and that your people need to know.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. Just looking. Yeah. Pulpit swap was something that was pastor switching, but I've seen that where you do a pulpit swap between a couple of churches or those kinds of things, but never. We'll bring everybody together at one service, leave, and go to another service, and we'll all do that. That just sounds like a cool thing. But, I know what I was going to say. So when you were talking about that, I've had those experiences too, where it is the joint collective witness of the body. So one streamer alone wasn't enough for the person because, okay, you're different. You're not really Christian. You're saying you are, but I've never experienced grace and mercy in this way, or God's love, whatever they're feeling, and going, I'm not sure I trust it. And you go to the next Christian streamer who has very similar things. Maybe they're more in grace, maybe you're more in love, whatever it is, doesn't matter. But they're feeling the community and the Spirit, and then it's like, okay, at that point, maybe they're going, I don't know what this is. I don't know how to identify it. I feel better after being here. I don't want to leave. You're going to take me somewhere else? I'll go where you take me.
I've seen in chat lots of times, hey, you're not like anybody else. Well, yeah. You know what? That's thank you for saying that, because I take that as a compliment.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's and I know I'm a unicorn. I embrace the fact I'm a unicorn. There is no one like me, and I'm not saying that to be arrogant, but there isn't.
Oh, yeah.
The education I have, the experience that I have, the time that I put in, the gifts that I have, the stuff that I get to do, I know I'm a unicorn. Like, how many people get to sit on the national board of whatever, but also get to do fart jokes and show the funniest urinal. You find that other guy, and I will say.
Well, yeah, and I love too is when you're in a physical church.
Narwhal?
What?
My feelings just got hurt in
unicorn,
chat.
Narwhal?
A narwhal. Ow. My feelings. I don't want to be a narwhal.
I don't know. Narwhals are pretty cool. Just saying.
That's their teeth, man. Nah. No. Anybody who grows their teeth out of their forehead in a pointy direction?
Yeah. Nah. Yeah. What I was going to say before we...
Jedi of the Sea.
Narwhals, yes.
I'm sorry, no, that was close to the heart. That's what that was.
The Jedi of the Sea.
There you go. All right, sure.
Wow.
I'll take that. There's your T-shirt of the day, by the way.
The T-shirt of the day? Oh, okay.
Narwhals are the Jedi of the sea.
Yeah.
If y'all start calling me a narwhal, I'm gonna cry. Stop it. Unicorn is very majestic, beautiful, sparkly, running through the forest, all rainbowy. Narwhal, they don't do that. They just kind of
unicorn
big fat
are
guy
also
with big teeth.
fictitious. Unicorns are also fictitious. So,
You ever seen a narwhal?
I've seen video of a narwhal.
I've seen videos of unicorns. What's your point?
Mine was a living creature, not animation or
Prove it.
CGI.
You ever seen one? Prove it.
I've not
How do
gone
you
to
know
where they
narwhals
live.
exist? You tell me there's a fish that their teeth grow out of their forehead. That's what you're trying to tell me? That they're like, yeah, okay, sure. I'll tell you that there's a horse that has a horn. That makes way more sense than what you're describing.
Okay. Anyway, I don't do the same things you do as a Twitch pastor, as a Twitch missionary of doing those things. But if we go to the physical church, sometimes I felt this pressure to do the same things that the previous pastor did, that the pastor down the road did, that we had to compete with all of those people instead of uniquely looking at our group of people, our congregation, saying, what's God called us to do? Has he called us to the homeless? Has he called us to the single mothers? Who has he gifted us? What gifts do we have? And who do we reach? And how do we do that? There was always this competition of down the road or the previous pastor, the nostalgia of when they were in the heyday of things. I feel no pressure whatsoever to do Weird Wednesday. Maybe I would do a redeem, but it would have to be the person provides me with all the stuff. I'm not going to go do all the searching for weird stuff. You would have to give me the list and put it in front of me, and I'd do Weird Wednesday. But you do it, and you're great at it. I have, like you were talking, I haven't got to hang out in your stream hours on end like I did 3 years ago, and be able to just enjoy the community there. We're in other places trying to do that too. So there is such a need for you to be you and me to be me and our communities to love and know one another. But frankly, when I'm on is a different time than you. So different people will hang out with me because of time, but also I'm doing different things than you. I mean, you want to talk about being a unicorn? I decided let's go on Twitch and read the Bible in a year. That's
yeah.
That's not what everyone should do.
Actually, I struggle with even the idea of doing I struggle with even the idea of doing my Devo.
Yeah.
1 sec.
Yep, you got some gifts coming in, man.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it very much. So thank you. I appreciate that a lot. So but I struggle sometimes with the idea of the Devo because a lot of Christian streamers start with the Devo. You know what I mean? And it's just like I'm Christian, I must need a Devo. I'm Christian, we must do a prayer time. I'm Christian, and part of the class is discovering who you are, what you're, who God created you to be, the audience that you are supposed to be giving, what message you're supposed to be giving them, and where you're supposed to be taking them. And that doesn't always need a Bible study, right? That actually the Bible study might be work against you,
right?
For a certain group you're trying to serve, trying to help, trying to communicate with, you may not need the Bible study. That might be bad. And but for me, again, I have to realize I'm a Bible teacher.
Yes.
And it is part of what God called me to do, and it's good. Which means I struggle with the game side of it. Okay, well, if I'm, so it's like, and at some point, I kind of have to go. You know what? I'm just gonna be me, and then that should be okay. That's actually what we're going to be talking about at Reach. Yep. When Mother Goose and I are on stage, is that idea of it's okay to be you, and it's okay to have your own message and your own audience, and you don't have to try to be other people. And God really can use that, and you can really see success and feel used by God just by being you and the message that you want to give. You don't have to copy people.
Oh yeah. Well, what's I think too, and I think you said it earlier, is in digital space, people can suss out whether you're authentic or whether you're not authentic. Like whether you are really who you're saying, or are you putting on a show, or are you putting on a front. I want to say, I think it was 2 years ago that I went to Exponential Conference, which I'll be there in Orlando next week, again for the third year in a row. Some of it's connecting with people I know because I want to see them. I'm also going to be serving with 24/7 Prayer Chapel there. But I did an Airbnb with several people that I knew. So LTN was there, Lux Digital Church guys were there, people from the Church Digital were there, Jate Live was there, and I paid for an Airbnb. I'm like, I want to hang out with you guys. I'll pay for an Airbnb and we can all hang out together. I had a job at the time. I don't anymore. But it was like, okay,
right.
I'm going to be here. And like some of them did not know me from watching my stream at all. They connected with the other places. So I'm out getting a cup of coffee, getting tea, getting the morning going, 6 a.m. Somebody else walks out in the kitchen. I'm wearing a flat cap. They're like, do you sleep in those? Like they must have just thought like this is some like, okay, they knew I was flat cap dapper pastor, but they're just like, dude, I don't ever see you without a hat. I go, no, I reserve that for preaching.
I wouldn't recognize you.
Yeah.
No, if you took it off, I wouldn't know who you were.
Yeah. I'll take you up on the Airbnb. You know, Supersonic and I are talking about maybe getting an Airbnb together for Reach Conference, but I'm going to wait till I get back from Orlando. I'll start working on that and figuring out what I can do and then just fill the spots up with whoever wants to join. So yeah, I said I could keep going in lots of different directions of digital ministry and digital missionaries, and I appreciate how you keep saying we're not bashing the church, and I certainly don't want to bash the church. I love the church. The church is how I got here. Now I might have been a lot of places misunderstood by the church, and not fit in with their ideal or fit in their mold. I've never fit in a mold of anybody anywhere in my life. I never felt the pressure to. I've always had a unique perspective. Well, I'll give it this example. In 7th grade, when everybody wanted to put on the guest watch and guest jeans and dress exactly like everyone else, I want to do the opposite of that. I want everyone to know that I am different than them. So it's actually when I got my first flat cap. I got a yellow banana-colored flat cap.
Grade 7.
7th grade.
Wow.
7th grade, not 7. 7th grade.
I love that story.
Yeah. And then I was at a second-hand store, and I found a yellow jacket. I'm like, oh, that goes great with my hat. And I had yellow Converse. And so then began the progression of I'm going to be yellow from head to toe. And like everybody's trying to fit in, and I'm going, not me, baby. I'm over here, and I'm different. And
I identify as a banana.
Yeah, yes. Well, I ran for student council. I didn't win. I ran for student council, and my slogan, I didn't put my name. I didn't put anything. It just said, "Be mellow, vote yellow." That was it. That was my whole campaign. I didn't win. I should have had a campaign manager. Maybe I should have tipped off the flat cap back then, but you know.
Nah, own it. Own it and roll with it, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny you talk about that. You wouldn't recognize me. I would have people in town that I would see at school. I'd be in the Chamber of Commerce with them. But Sunday I'd put contacts in because of earpieces of preaching, and I wouldn't have a hat on. And I'd run to the grocery store or to a restaurant in town afterwards, and I'd wave at them, and they would not know who I was. Because it's a Superman disguise. Like, they wouldn't know who I was.
Well, yeah, you're literally, if you had a mustache, like a twirly mustache, you would literally be incognito, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that would literally be what you'd look like.
Right. And then the opposite would be true. Like, the people that would see me on Sunday, I run into them, at the grocery store on Wednesday and wave at somebody from church, and they're like, who's that guy? Who's that guy waving at me? It's like, it's so funny. My wife just cracks up over it that people can't recognize you with or without a hat, whichever one they know. It's stuck and they can't identify you. So, okay, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. Okay, so we mentioned ReachCon, but we haven't talked about it much. We've mentioned the digital conference. So let me just quick highlight what those things are in case anybody's watching and wants to know. So the first one coming up is our conference for the Church Digital. It is missionary.digital. Our Our sponsorships, by the way, I just got an update today. We are, I want to say 75% up of having our full sponsorship for the conference. All our expenses and all that taken care of. We're excited about that. Our goal is to have 1,000 people signed up for the conference, and it is totally free because we are having our sponsors cover that. Hey, welcome in. I'm watching you people. So what will happen is it's April 2nd at 11 a.m. Eastern time, Eastern Daylight then, I guess, Eastern, and it's about an 8-hour conference, and we keep adjusting it and massaging it, so it's free. You'll be able to either watch on your computer, on your tablet, on your phone, or you can choose to be in VR space. I will be the host over in VR space. We've got people doing sessions that are going to be teaching. You need to go to the website and check out the list. It's amazing, but it's exclusive. If you don't sign up, you can't get the content later. It's free, and if you say, oh, I can't make it, sign up anyway. If you're like, oh, I don't know if I'll be able to make it, sign up anyway. You can watch it later. What you'll miss is the breakouts. And I'm inviting a lot of friends in and connections to do breakouts and talk about what they're doing in ministry. Some VR people, some gamers, and then we've got people that are the church at large doing all of that. So that's April 2nd. Please check it out. And then Reach Conference is all the way into November, and it'll be the second one of Reach, and we started last year by doing, Alpha Course together. Each streamer did some Alpha Courses. We got together, and we started celebrated what God had done through that. We celebrate all our streamers, trying to prove on some level that this is viable, and the church needs to pay attention to the call. I don't know if you've seen the podcast from the Lusanne movement that just came out. 94% of Gen Z identifies as a gamer. That's huge. 94% identify as a gamer. So gamer ministry isn't going anywhere. Esports isn't going anywhere. It's only going to get bigger. And yeah, God's going to do some amazing things. And we're trying to help streamers, content creators, Christians level up their game in spaces. That's really the theme of Reach this year, is leveling up what you're doing and being better at it.
Yep. 1,000%.
Anything to add there?
No, nothing.
Okay.
You did perfectly.
Awesome. Well, you had shared a game with me, or a connection of games.
AXE0_0.
Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure what I said was I don't know.
No.
What did I say?
When we were chatting, you sent me a link for Pokey. So, Level Devil.
Just followed.
Hey.
Oh, watching you play Level Devil.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Okay.
That sounds fun.
Tell me about.
I'll pull up your stream and I'll commentate.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a game that is designed to. It's very simple. It's just the arrow keys, right?
Okay.
And your job is just to get to the end of the level. Really not that hard.
Okay, but that really wasn't. I don't know what the level is. So
what happened?
I gotta take and copy this and get it in there. So just give me a second.
Did it break? Are we broken?
Oh, hey. Thank you. Evasive answers, yes. Thank you for the subs coming in. All right.
Am I still on his stream? Did he go offline? Oh no! His computer exploded.
Oh. You know what? I had that.
Bummer.
I had that problem the other day too when we did this. So for some reason, if it's already open, it doesn't seem to want to show it to you. Let me try this again. Okay, so let me try sharing. Oh, I think that might have been it. I needed to do entire screen, I think is what I might have needed to do.
You're not online. You're not streaming.
It's still showing me that I'm streaming.
I'm on.
It says excellent. 30,000 kilobytes a second is what it's telling me. And
I'm on Flat Cap Dapper Pastor, and there's no stream.
I'm not on Flat Cap Dapper Pastor. I'm on theChurch.digital.
Okay, that would explain it.
Okay.
Explain it.
You're confusing me a minute here.
Sorry, my bad. No, I am confused. I live confused.
No, I thought when I tried to share it to the browser source for us to share on stream that it went dead, because I had that problem when I tried to do a game on Tuesday. So.
Oh, this poor guy.
Okay. Let me.
I can maybe watch his stream. Oh, he's got ads. Oh, the poor guy.
Okay, let me see.
You know what? While he figures this out, you guys, I need to use the washroom. So I'm gonna take a little break. Give me a minute. I'm gonna come back once he gets all this figured out. I'm sure it'll be a lot better. I'll see you guys very, 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 very soon.
Sounds good. Okay. Why is this one not showing? All right, that is not working for some reason. I'll do it a different way. Well, maybe it will not show on screen. %2 bonkers. Okay. Well, it started here. I don't know if the game started yet, but it is not letting me copy it and paste it for some reason. Yeah, it's just ending up blank there. Okay. Let me do this. There we go. Oops. All right, I've just about done adjusting that, I think. So, I'll wait for him to get back. Mix the pick. Oh my goodness, that is random and adorable. Oh, I must have missed something that came in. Oh, should I check the name here? See if I can change Level Devil. Is that going to show up? Oh, there it is, Level Devil. Okay, so I can change what we're doing. Anybody coming in will know what we're doing then. Let me get caught up on chat here. You have a gift sub here, but you're still getting ads. Is the setting on? No, I don't. I thought I had ads set to off. The only thing that I think would be showing would be the compress, ads. No ads running the rest of it, Supersonic. So I'm not sure what's going on. No, there's no setting to allow ads for subscribers. I do not know what's going on there. All right, what did I miss further back? Bum, 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 bum. Just so I have a really good randomizer for this channel, a Bible trivia command. You've seen trivia in people's channels. You wonder if it's available. I'll ask around. Oh, interesting.
Actually, you know what? I have an idea.
Yeah.
I have an idea. If y'all want to watch Flatcap do this, I'm gonna shut down my stream. We're gonna raid over to Flatcap, and you can all watch him do this thing on his, and I'll shut down, and then when he's done, I'm done. So
okay.
let's raid over there.
Sounds good. You could still
Hold on. Let me figure this out.
You could still heckle me then.
Raid the Church Digital.
There's an optional setting for those subbed, but that usually off. I did not know there was one. I will have to investigate that. I don't know why I would want everybody to have that. So. Woohoo! Welcome in, Raiders. Welcome in. I'm gonna go ahead and switch that off. So, which one is it? There we go. So I can make the game bigger now. Whoa, 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 whoa. Welcome in. Hype train incoming. God is as real as a leprechaun. Oh, okay. God is as real as a leprechaun. With the gift subs. Okay, that took me a second to read that. I think it was the spacing wrapped around that took a second. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. I'm watching. It is so meta to be rated by someone who was sharing a channel with you. That means even if you're only having one screen, I'm literally with the raid. Yes.
Lexi's levels just followed.
Oh, thank you for the follow. So it sounds like an appropriate one for... That makes sense, yeah, for March. So I think I can stop streaming together. Ninja has left that. And stream together. I should still be good on screen because none of that is in there. Okay. So let me move the game around. And so part of what... the hype train's still going. I got nothing on this channel yet for hype, everybody. So I apologize. I'm just gonna be the most hype I can, but that's all I can. I can't do any more. All right, so let me just move this a little bit so I can... There we go. Oh, okay, so we got emotes that are not showing me for some reason. Lexi's levels. I thought I followed you before, but better late than never. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you. You were coming back. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be playing Level Devil here. The plan was for me to raid in and then stay on the stream together, but the stream together... Oh, sorry. Sorry, you... Yeah, it must have, when you stopped streaming, it went dead. I can send you an invite and we can chat that way if you want. But that's up to you. If you want me to be able to hear you, I should be able to still put that on screen. Knock. You can knock, yeah. Yeah, just do a knock then. You're going to stop because the alert is loud. Oh, okay, sorry.
Goofbill just followed.
Hey, thank you. I can turn those down so they're not as loud. Sorry about that, I'm watching. I'm hearing them, but they're not loud for me, but I don't have my voice regulated with that, so. Okay, I'm not seeing your knock. So if you're knocking, I don't hear you. I didn't hear the door. You're still exhausted from yesterday. You think you're just hypersensitive everything. Knock louder. Kick the door down. Exactly. Well, if not, I can send it back your way, too. Oh, there we go. I clicked accept, but I don't see you. That was weird. It showed me the alert. I said accept, and then nothing happened. Well, maybe not so much exhausted but tired. Yeah, it's an upgrade. All right, I don't know what happened there. I said yes, and then it did nothing. Yeah, I know you knocked, and I clicked on it, and then nothing happened when I clicked yes. So maybe it didn't do the pop-up like it should have. I'll send you an invite again. Hey, tall, skinny Kiwi. Somebody knocking on the door. Somebody ringing the bell. Action already taken. Okay, weird. It won't let me send you an invite again because apparently I'm still on the same occurrence of hype chest. Oh, we got a hype chest. Thank you, everybody. You got a badge. You're in? I'm not seeing you. This is so weird. Let me try something else here. Okay. Maybe I needed to open up. You're in? I don't see you in, but I opened up the, there we go. Let me try that. Okay. I think I might have, I don't know if I got it now. It just took me to your channel. That's what it took me to. I knew we'd have some problems. This must be what it is, so. Weird. You haven't been invited to the Stream Together sessions. I don't know. It's weird. Oh, I will just try to invite you. Well, we'll see what happens. I was trying to just open up the viewers in the chat. I know. I clicked on the invite. It just takes me to your stream. It doesn't take me to behind scenes. I clicked on it, and it says, open up the channel. And it goes to your channel. Sorry, Donnie, I didn't catch all of the chat you're going on there. Try the top of TCD, use the call-in button. I don't know where the call-in button is. I went over to the Stream Together and turned on the turn call-ins on. Your dad owns Microsoft. He can fix this. Team No Pants. Hey, welcome in. You were flooding the chat, yeah. There we go. Now I see you. Now it's showing preview, but then you disappeared. That's weird. You popped in and then disappeared. Don't know what's going on there. This is not what I signed up for. Sorry about the confusion. We're on it, and you figured it out. Would just keep it going. Yeah. Well, you disappeared when you stopped your stream. It cut you when you rated. You disappeared from the stream together. So I did open it up for anybody to be able to join in. And then I tried to do the request that you sent me, which didn't work. I just sent you another invite. Let's see how that works. I don't know. So you show up in the preview. Now it's saying push users. I don't know what that means to push you. How do I push you? Well, that's not telling me how to push you. Anyone know how to push? Oh, there we go. I found the right thing. There we go. You should be back now.
Hello.
Hey, there
Did that
we
work?
are. Yep, I just got to get you back on
Sorry
screen.
about that. What an unbelievable amount of pain in the butt that was.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. What it did is, like, when you rated over to me, you disappeared from the streaming together. And so then I'm like, oh, I'll just shut that down then. If we're not streaming together, then there's no sense in having that open.
Yeah, well, yeah, the plan was, like, I was just going to leave Stream Together open and then shut down my stream and just keep going. Yeah, and I don't know what happened. I mean, obviously, it's technically still beta, maybe. I think it's supposed to technically be still beta.
Oh, maybe.
So I guess we can explain that.
Good enough by me. We got it back. It took some work. I've got you on stream.
All right, so
I'm on stream.
all right,
The game's on stream. Now I'm ready to play. Okay, so what am I? So I got arrows.
Let's do this thing. Okay,
I got arrows.
just arrows. It's all you need is arrows, man.
I'm not good with
So
arrows.
all you're trying to do is get to the door. That's what you got to do. Get to the door.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm trying. It's not doing anything. Oh, there we go. Okay.
No, that wasn't right. You gotta jump over that.
I don't know how to jump.
Up.
Okay.
Good job.
Well, I'll get
Well
five,
done. See,
five
it's
lives.
that easy, man.
2 lives.
It's that easy. You get all the lives, man.
Not 33 lives exactly.
Nope, not 33. Yeah, you're gonna. Yeah, there you go. Jump over. There you go. Jump over that one too. Beautiful. You're natural.
Oh, right.
You're
Yeah.
natural.
Yeah, I'm so natural.
Easy.
That
Oh, see, that wasn't right. No, that wasn't quite right there. This is fun to watch someone else.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Not, not as fun when I was playing.
See, this is my problem. Like, I'm fine with chatting with you. I cannot watch chat at all right now. So if something comes up, you'll have to tell me of anything.
You're completely locked in.
I can.
Yeah, you're 100%
Right,
locked
right.
in.
I tried doing this last year for 3 months. I was doing Baldur's Gate 3 hours a day, or not 3 hours a day, 3
Wow.
hours on Monday, 3 hours on Tuesday, and trying to do that. And I was like, I are you kidding me? It's like I took a step and died. I can't play the game,
There you
and
go. Easy. Run!
ah!
Yeah, there's a hole there right before the door.
Yeah, this is. Oh wait, press spacebar. I moved on to the next level. Wow.
We believe in him while we laughed at your demise. Yeah, that's exactly it. We completely support you. But you'll know our support because of all the laughter.
I would rather have a controller in my hand. That's all I have to say.
Oh, it's the keyboard. Yeah. Those controller people, they're always blaming the keyboard. Man.
Hey,
What's up with that?
I've had a controller since Commodore 64, so you know.
See, now you're starting to pick it up. Look at you go. See, there you go. You're thinking it through. Ah, that was the same as last one.
You finished Demon with 125 to 150 deaths.
Is that all? Wow. That's like a speed run, Supersonic. All right, big brain. We got a big brain moment coming here. No, that wasn't it.
Nice.
They got to jump that one, man.
I was trying. I just couldn't make it.
I like commentating this. It's fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Spikes are coming. Spikes are coming.
I think it would be more fun to commentate. Oh, whoa. Yeah, that's good.
See, you got
Sermons would be more fun to commentate.
Well, yeah, I think it's a winner idea.
Yeah.
Man. I really do. You and I, we can get the white pencil, and we can break down what we think.
Well, you're talking about reaction videos, and there is some validity in watching people react to something. I hadn't thought about that. You were talking into the tapping into the audience, because if you're just watching it, there is no audience that you're engaged with. So for a while, I was watching a channel, kids react to metal songs. So
yeah.
So they'd play like, well, they wouldn't play Slayer. I don't think they did. They'd play Megadeth. they'd play Ozzy Osbourne. They'd play Black Sabbath. And then there was always these two kids like, oh yeah, this is cool. I know this one. My dad listens to this. And then there'd be these other kids like just appalled, like, what is he saying? And he's screaming. And it's like, those were fun to watch.
Yep. It's the parasocial relationship that people have with celebrities, with streamers, with the YouTubers and whatnot. Some people disparage it, that idea that it's not a real relationship, blah blah blah. But the truth is that the people who are feeling an affinity with that person, are it's meaningful to them, right? It's meaningful to them, which is why a lot of people would rather watch Jacksepticeye or watch like whoever pick a player, do something, play the game, watch the video, react to the content, what do they think, than they would rather do the thing themselves. And it's because it's their friend. And if they're at home by themselves, I'd rather be there with a friend, even though that friend is virtual.
This is my problem with the keyboard. What? It keeps scrolling down while I'm trying to play. It's not staying.
Well, you got to make sure you're clicked on the go full screen on the bottom right there. Then
it'll change it. It'll change everything that's showing. I'll have to reset everything on. Plus full screen.
But I think it would solve your problem.
Well, I didn't have a problem until I got to this game.
Create a new problem.
Yeah, it'll create another problem.
There you go. Oh, no, you want to jump to the left there. No. You got to cross. And then cross right back.
Yeah, I can't get the go back. It just doesn't work.
There's no left?
There is a left. But by the time I switch buttons from my finger that's pushing right to pushing left, the thing is already pushing me.
How are you holding? Are you using two hands?
Yes, I can't do it with one hand.
Just use these three fingers. Just left, right, up.
No, I have to look at the keys I'm pushing.
Oh no!
Yeah, I told you I don't use the keyboard.
You really don't use a keyboard. Wow. Okay.
No, I've got a really nice mouse that would probably work for gaming too. No, I use a controller.
Is there a
You know what?
maybe there's a controller version?
I'm gonna just try to plug my controller in and see if it'll work.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe it'll work.
We'll find out.
I'll search it up
We'll find
to
out.
see if that's a thing.
Okay, let me put it on here. Will it work? No. Not unless there's something in the settings.
Apparently, if it's on, you can do it if you use Level Devil on Steam, because it's actually on Steam, but
Yeah.
it costs. No, I don't think it costs. It's a demo. You could theoretically play it on Steam. Sorry, I would never have thought that you'd have had a keyboard issue. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, don't worry about it. The point of this is not for me to be good at anything. It's for you to introduce me to something. So, yeah,
So,
okay.
yeah, this is a like I said, when I first started streaming, I was all about the trying to do this exact kind of game, but for fun, right? And just kind of being like, oh, it'll be hilarious.
Yeah.
Me struggling with all this, but it gets progressively less hilarious. I think you should let go of that other hand and just use the one. I think you'd have more.
I tried that. That's what just happened.
Yeah. Well, you're not worse. So there you.
I use the keyboard now, so I got two different.
There you
hands.
go. Apparently, spacebar. Yeah, spacebar also lets you jump.
Yeah. Thank you, spacebar.
Then you only got to think about two buttons on the one hand.
Right.
So how is Baldur's Gate? Good.
Oh well, I can say when Baldur's Gate 1 was out, I don't know, back in whatever that was, 2008 maybe. I did play Baldur's Gate, and then the next one came out. I played Baldur's Gate 2, and I played Neverwinter Nights and several other RPGs. And then like Nair and Final Fantasy was coming out on Xbox, so I switched over to Xbox, and so I hadn't been back to, playing on a PC until, just in the last couple of years as I've been streaming. It's like, oh, do I get the Xbox out, put it on the screen over here? I got to get a capture card or do other stuff. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. But
See, I'm exactly the opposite. I didn't have any consoles.
Sorry, I just made that, and I'm super excited.
Gamer moment. Look at that.
Yes.
Somebody clip that. Gamer
Somebody
moment.
needed to clip that. I just hit the space bar to jump, and it worked. And I was like, yay! Okay.
See, gamer moment, man.
No!
Play a game called Dude Stop. No, let me see. I'm willing to try.
Ah!
Whoa, that was gorgeous. You're in the zone, man. You're officially in the zone.
Oh!
Lion Warrior 79.
Oh, I totally want to play this game. Okay, Dude Stop. I'm going to put it on my wish list. Yeah, there it is. That looks kind of fun.
Which one?
It's called Dude Stop. It's on Steam.
Oh, okay.
It's looks like it's equally weird. So that's on my wish list officially.
Ah!
Black Cat Prison Ninja at the start of each level set. It says a title for the theme of each level. Oh, it does. Hold on, let's figure that out. What's the title?
All I see is escape. I don't see any title. Where's the title?
Probably at the beginning.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. Okay. I see what I'm doing wrong.
That's my favorite. Oh, I get it. Oh, you do something else wrong, and you go, oh, I see. Yeah. There you go. Oh,
Hail and well met.
it's Ferric.
I will have to say that. Okay, so
Genius.
where's the name? I don't see the name.
Well, maybe it's at the very, very, very beginning of each level.
Okay.
I know he says it once.
Okay. Well, I thought this one might have been the next level, but mouse over.
I think what he
Coins.
mouse over like.
So that's coins. The other was push.
There
Here's
you go.
spikes.
Coins. Oh, there you go.
Pits. Thank
Coins.
you. Okay, so we're at coins.
Far out. Okay.
So
Coins.
I must need to jump. Thank you. I didn't understand what you meant. Okay.
There's 2-player. Oh wow, interesting. 2-player local probably. Which if it's on Steam, 2-player local, you could do that over. Oh, you don't need to get all the coins.
No. Okay, you die if you run into the wall. I didn't know that. Learn something new.
No going left. That's. You run on the. Aww.
Yeah.
That's funny. It's so mean.
There we go. Almost.
Oh. Maybe don't jump.
Okay.
Like, don't get that one. See if you just have to go underneath it.
Oh, that was weird.
There you go. There you go.
I dove right through those. Made sure I didn't touch them.
Yep, that's like you want. So, now you got to touch them. Completely different. Whoa. Oh, what was that?
I don't know. It's like he's not jumping.
Something happened. When you jumped, he touched like a ledge.
Yeah, there's something invisible there. You're right. Okay. Oh! Not cool, man.
I'm like 10 seconds behind, so it's funny to listen to you react and then see what it is.
Let's see what it is, yes. Try to only jump. Yeah. Aha! This is like the thing I hate most in most games is the precision jumping. I hate that. Like I skip that. Like Assassin's Creed will have all these little side quests. Run across this, jump here, climb off of that, do this. Like, no, let me go jump off a tower and kill somebody. Like, no thank you on the jumping skills.
Yeah, I'm playing a game called Final Fantasy right now, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oh.
And there's a something called a cactuar.
Oh, yeah,
It's a
yeah.
little tiny,
I remember
spinny
those.
Little cactus jerk.
Yes.
And it absolutely ruined me when I met it. Like, legitimately was the hardest thing I'd played in the game yet, and I'd fought bosses. So it's like, no, I am not going to be doing that.
Oh, I
And
hit the
every time
wall.
I see one, I run away.
Yes, you have to. You cannot defeat him.
Yeah, it's like, have you beat those guys yet? No, I run away and I don't talk about them, and we just don't. We pretend those aren't in the game.
Boy, that was a long time ago I played that one.
Well, this is the remake.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they made a remake, but it doesn't surprise me.
It is. It's really good. So they took a Final Fantasy VII, and they remade it with super modern graphics, and then they split it into 3 different games.
Okay.
So it's actually like 120 hours of one game.
I pushed the right arrow and he jumped left. Okay.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to push the left arrow to go right. Okay. Obviously.
Uh-huh. This is
Easy. What are you doing? What was the title of this one?
controls.
Oh, that would be that. Yeah, that makes sense. So you're gonna be a keyboard master by the end of this game.
Oh no, I'm just
You're gonna actually switch. You're gonna switch to keyboard.
No, because I can feel my forearms are throbbing right now from using the keyboard.
Oh no!
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
Really? Wow. All right. You really are a controller boy.
Oh wow.
Aren't you glad I picked this one?
Sorry. This one is really weird.
So what have you played with other people so far? You've done this 4 times, so what have other people made you play?
Let me pull up what it was that I played. So we didn't end up doing it with Warrior of Light. He ended up with a shorter amount of time. But I'm trying to find... Oh, we played Jackbox Party Starter with Geek Devotions.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
It was pretty good.
That's fun.
I enjoyed that. And then, as always, was trying to get me to load and play Call of Duty, and I ended up not being able to play it because the computer got bogged down. It wasn't fully loaded. I didn't know.
It's a beefy game.
Well, he's like, oh, well, you need this other thing too in order to get into a game. Cause I'm like, okay, you didn't tell me to download that. I downloaded the game. What do you mean I can't play the game? So,
Sorry, you didn't get the mod pack. You didn't go get the extra DLC.
Well,
what were you thinking?
it was you have to go to another platform for, joining a game. So.
Oh yeah. See, no, I'm good. Find a better game, like this one. This is way better.
I don't know. It's probably still better than first-person shooter. I'll admit. I am not a first-person shooter. Oh my goodness! All the way to the ceiling.
You got to float down.
No, you just have to time it so
That's
that. Yeah, I guess you're right. Float down. That's it.
I have a feeling that the Church Digital will dislike this game. Hey, listen, man. 1.4 million people like it, and 216,000 don't. That's a pretty good average.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is I'm not the biggest fan of 8-bit because this reminds me of being in elementary school trying to play video games.
Playing what's
Snake.
that called? Load Runner?
Oh, I don't even think we had that. We had Snake.
Oh,
We would
this
fight.
looks a lot like Dig Dug.
Oh, see, Dig Dug wasn't even out then. No, elementary school, we got TRS-80s, and there was Snake and another game. I can't remember the other game, but like, if you've never played Snake, it's really a simple game. You're just making this.
There was Logo,
No, I don't remember that one.
Oregon Trail.
No, that wasn't until I was high school or college that I saw Oregon Trail.
What about Hangman?
There probably was that.
Tenacity, stick-to-itiveness, endurance. You know, they say that suffering builds character
Yes.
and
Yes.
perseverance.
Oregon Trail was fun, but actually, if you go back far enough, it may have been when it was just the type version of you have just a prompt and you have to type. There might have been that version of it that when I was in high school, of all it was a DOS prompt, and you would tell it what to do: move, right, left, You know, to give you a
Oh,
scenario,
brutal.
and
Yeah.
then you would say something to go, "You've died of dysentery." Like,
Yeah. That's Oregon Trail.
yeah.
Yeah. Have you?
What the-
So, I think Zach has a good idea. Is that if you can just pretend it's high def, and so what I would do if you take off your glasses, you'll technically be able to see more pixels
Uh-huh.
because it'll spread out and it'll look a lot more high res RTX. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, but I'm not buying what you're selling.
I'm just saying it's science. You just can't argue with science, man.
Yeah. Oh. How's this gonna kill me? Okay, that's how. Yep.
The ads really want me to go to the casino. Like they are just desperate for me to go to the casino. Well, that seems too easy.
Well, I already died
Hey,
twice,
well done.
So.
Just gotta jump, man. Don't move. Just jump. 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 Well done. See, you're a machine. Oh no. Sorry, my reactions are 10 seconds behind.
I know,
so
I know,
apologize.
which is so fun. Which is so fun. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Zach. Just let me put my bits. Let's just exchange all the bits that we get straight to the casino, and we'll see if we can win something. That's what we're going to be doing next. Because Twitch is trying to do a lot more collaborations, and so I'm assuming the casino is going to be one of them.
Oh.
Even though that's a Kick thing. Did you know all the Kick servers run on the Amazon servers? Like that, the back end of Kick is Amazon, same as Twitch.
I'm not surprised by that. Amazon,
it's
Amazon
funny 'cause
actually
they're-
makes their money by having all the servers. They don't make money by selling stuff.
Yeah, they don't. What's interesting is that they talk about how Kick is different and whatever. They're not really in competition. Not really. Like you said, they make a ton off of the AMZ cloud services.
But yeah,
but it's not really cloud services. It's the same it's the same system as Twitch, right? It's the same background, the same kind of streaming software or whatever system that Twitch uses, apparently.
now
Not just the cloud.
I know when they were was it about a year ago they were launching, and there was a bunch of excitement and a bunch of streamers going over there, and it just went dead. Like after 2-3 months, I've heard nothing about Kick. Have you heard any? Do you know anybody that's still over there doing anything?
Every now and again, you get a story from Kick where somebody does something insane and dangerous or gross or whatever. But more or less, I haven't heard anything positive or any growth, any potential, anything really. There's a lot of well done. There's a lot of talk about YouTube versus Twitch. A lot of like is there something going to be coming? But I don't think anybody particularly is thinking Twitch is the way to go. Or
Well,
not Twitch. Kick is the way to go.
Yeah.
Like it's just such it's a Wild West, right? So what they had, what Kick did was they were basically like, we'll let you do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Come on in. And then when people started doing whatever they want, they realized that is really a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because people do horrible stuff. I bet it moves to the right. Oh, nope. That's so mean. Got bounced left.
I'm still pushing the button to the right because I'm running right.
Hey, I gotta get going in about 4 minutes. Are we,
Yep. Yeah, that's it.
anything we gotta do before we quit?
Nope. If you have someone to raid, that we can go raid, let me know who.
All right, let's see who's on. Well, Pastor D's the obvious one. Pastor Susie. Who else is on here? Not very many, actually. There's not very many people that are live. Crazy. Oh, there
I
they
made
are.
it. There we go.
Do you ever read Zelda?
Zelda the Hobbit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Wordy Girl. You know who's really good? Wordy Girl.
Oh, Wordy Girl's on? Oh, yeah.
Raid her. She's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
She's great.
Yep. I used to watch...
It's her birthday.
Oh, okay. I used to raid Zelda the Hobbit, probably a year ago, and then streaming schedules and all that changed, or I watched her, and... but yeah, Wordy Girl is fantastic. I like both of them. I like a lot of people.
Yeah, that's what the team said, ukulele. But it was like, you know what was fun? That flipping mountain. It was so fun. And they were like, can we play some more? Please. We had to stop.
I watched about 2 minutes of ukulele play, and I was done. I'm like, I'm not playing that game. Like, no. Precision landing. Oh, this is like absolutely everything I do not want. So.
Yep. Yeah, it wasn't very popular. It was an arduous task.
Oh yeah, like no, I don't care about that. Give me just hack and slash, Plus,
Yep.
I'm not first person shooter either. I want a sword in my hand, face to face with my enemy, or sneaking stealthy assassination with my enemy. But I still have to be there, I don't have any credits rolling out here or anything like that yet set up. I'm just trying to get this new channel rolling. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Christian Ninja. This was super fun. I appreciate the game.
Glad to be here.
I appreciate how awful I am at it, and I'm gonna go soak my arms and get those, keep those from throbbing here. All that keyboard action.
Completely wore you out.
Oh
there
man.
You go.
But thank you, everyone, for coming in. Please do check out the missionary.digital for the conference. Let me type that in there. We didn't talk about, but because I want you to go to this first, the course that we do have of equipping digital missionaries. It's a cohort. I'll talk more about that down the road. But for now, thank you, everybody. It was so much fun. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for all the bits, tips, subs, and donos. Let's go and bless other people.
Bye-bye.